everybody. How are you today? We are ready. We're ready to go. We got the sound on. Everything seems to be working perfectly. Boom. Boom. We're ready to go. I'm doing okay today. I hope that you are doing well. Have you done anything cool so far this weekend? Did you have any good moments there? Lux late? It's not late because I always start the stream at the hour and then give you your 5 minutes with music, right? So, a wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. All right? Anyway, but yes, hello. Folks in the YouTube chat, let me say hello to you first. We have C, Sweet Dream, Spacer's Choice, hello. There's Grapes God, Curse, hello. Celebrity Guest, always good to have one of those on your show. But All Is Lost, we got Nox, hello. Ambi and Ariel, and yeah, I think that's everybody over there. And then, of course, there's folks over on the website chat. If you're on the YouTube chat and you are on like a desktop computer, you might consider clicking the top link in the description there, because that'll take you to the website, which is where this chat is and where all of my links are, and like everything's all custom and it's pretty cool. There's custom emojis. Can we get some dicks in chat real quick before we get started? Gotta start Smuggy chat early. What's up, Lily and Bugga? Hello. Okay, so yeah, saying hello to people. T-Rex has been in here for a while. We got Winter Nightmare. There's Junebug, Decoy Duck, always keeping it real. There's Beth and Mama Mephistopheles. Good morning. I just ran out of content to watch. Now I don't need to be alone with my thoughts. True. I'm going to be, I think that today's the day that I'm going to try to camp. So I'm basically preparing myself to have like some time to my thoughts. You know, I think that I'll probably bring my earbud and like listen to audiobook for the first 5 hours. But once earbud's dead, later tonight, I'm going to have nothing but my own thoughts to keep me company. I don't want my phone to die, so I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on it, you know? I cannot find my battery backup. Like, I cannot figure out what the hell I did with it. Anyway, hey, Max, what's up? We got Old Man Vox, Rat Lover, and Nuvenol, and hello, Mersh, Jelly Bee. What is up, everybody? Oh, and Bluerella, yes, PETA. Keep one earbud off so that you can hear your surroundings. God bless you. I grew up female and I don't need all the safety tips. I'm going to bring my pepper spray. I don't wear headphones in public unless I can hear people around me. You know, these are considerations that I'm making. Just finished a video by The Click. It ended just in time to come over here. Nice. Also, somebody said that there was a new Sean video today. What was the Sean video about? I haven't seen that. It must have just dropped. Well, I guess I've been pretty busy this morning. I was like, okay, so tomorrow I have basically like a full schedule, like just a full schedule. And I had to prepare my video for tomorrow morning today. So that's what I was doing most of this morning, and like preparing my shit so that I can basically, once we get done here with stream today, we have some stuff to discuss. And we want to take our time to hang out and chill. Once we are done with our time together today, I'm basically going to like get my shit together and go get like the last couple of things that I need to go before we start camping. Should I record something while I'm out there? I for sure can't stream, but is there anything that I should document while I'm out there? Like Luxander starts a fire, you know, in the fire pit. Sean is a British YouTuber who does not show his face. His icon is like a skull with sunglasses. And he, I don't know, how would you guys describe Sean at this point? He is, he's done a lot of media type stuff. Like he did a really nice long video about, he wasn't into Harry Potter when he was a kid. So as an adult, he like read the books and watched the movies and got to give that perspective on how like the books are actually really mean-spirited and like, you know, all these different things. I mean, yeah, he's a video essayist. That's fair. Yeah. But it's like, what could you even say his genre is? What's up, Anthony? Welcome in. Love camping vlogs. Okay. Sean is Sean. That's the only way to describe him. Old classic bread tuber, classic political response streamer. That's a good point. You should document it so the cops can find the axe murderer faster. You know, I do have it set up so that someone I trust can track my phone. So, there's at least that. Genre. True. Oh, today's video is dunking on Dennis Prager. Okay. Document some wacky wildlife. The last time I went out on the trails near where I'm going to be camping, I did see a deer. So I have a picture of a deer just looking at me like to camera. He's like, you know, with their body turned away from you and their heads just like looking at you and they're just like perfectly still. Sean makes great vids, has the worst takes on Twitter. He's had some really interesting takes before, for sure. But I also think that people are a little bit reactionary about certain things. Are you going with anyone? I am considering asking a couple people if they want to come with me. I mean, I want to be able to camp by myself, so it's just a matter of like whether I get, whether people get back to me today or not. Hello, Venusian. Hello. That was an incredible deer impression. Yeah, don't tell Doe. I don't know why you would need to not tell Doe. That just was the first thing that came to mind, and I thought it was funny. Is Sean one of those bad takes on Twitter people? I mean, like, what are the takes on Twitter that people take issue with about Sean, right? My spouse and I want to make the drive down to Portland and go camping around the area this summer. Ooh, Portland seems like it would be really pretty to go camping in. There's a cool book called In Case of Emergency, Eat This Book. Best take on Twitter is not to go to Twitter for takes. True. Yeah, yeah, you call yourself Doe and your pronouns are its, but according to the song, Doe is a female deer. Interesting. Doe, a deer, and it's deer. Pacific Northwest is really pretty camping, but you gotta be prepped because it gets cold and wet. Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not been super rainy recently. So, and like, I don't think it's supposed to be super rainy. Like, we're about to enter our rainy season here soon. Like, you know, April showers, whatever. Although, I guess that is sort of creeping earlier and earlier. Which is weird because on the one hand, I do really hate when it snows on my birthday. And I would like it if it rained on my birthday, which is at the end of March, this month. It's my birthday month, if you didn't know. But, will you keep your streaming schedule while camping? So, I mean, the goal is to just like do that in a way that is not going to impact my job. Basically, all of the hobbies that I'm doing, I want to not impact my job. So if I'm going camping or if I'm going like hiking or backpacking more seriously, I'm going to try to schedule that in a way that it does not interrupt the flow or stream schedule because I need to make money. I mean, TLDR, I'm doing super good. As far as like I'm budgeting and, you know, I'm getting enough donos and everything, it's going super well so far. Thank you for being here. But yeah, because it's important for the channel's growth to be consistent also. Like you have to, it like helps with things showing up in recommendations. It helps with you guys actually knowing when I'm going to be here. Not everybody has notifications turned on. And not everybody has, not everybody has joined the Discord, which the Discord is the best way to get notifications for when I go live on stream. And then I don't ping in the Discord, but I usually post a link to the uploads. But I don't want to inundate you guys with too many notifications on Discord, so I try to keep it like I don't actually at you unless it's like we're going live. But that's like a consistent way to get the notification. Yeah, the consistency. I make it a point to post at least one pic a day for my OF. Yeah, I do not at all try to be consistent on my Safe for Work Fansly. I mean, I would like to be. I just don't. I'm just not really great at it. But people are chill, and it makes a tiny amount of money, so that's good. I don't know, Lux, if y'all got that nasty winter storm a couple days ago. We got hit hard east of you. We haven't had any major winter stuff lately. You should look up videos on how to properly walk in the woods so you don't trip and get killed 10 minutes into your movie of Axe Murderer 4. I've been on the trails before that I am going to be walking on, and they're pretty easy. They're like pretty straightforward, well-maintained trails. But, yeah, just like tripping and falling and dying. That would be just like me. My very first camping trip, and I decided to go for a little hike and just end up like dying in the woods. It would be great. Oh yeah, and then we also have to keep a lookout for the cabins inhabited by cannibalistic former Disney Channel actors. Running for your life from Shia LaBeouf. Yeah. Dies before the murderer even shows up. Exactly, that would be just like me. It's raining in LA right now. Oh wow. That's pretty weird. It doesn't normally do that. The Safe for Work Fansly strikes me as something you do for fun and cool outfits. I think it's good to do some stuff online for its own sake rather than making everything you do online about making money. It's good to, yeah, just, it's like, oh, hey, like, I want to take some pictures of a cool outfit. I'm going to do that. And then I have a place to put them. Because I don't really, like, putting them on Twitter just doesn't feel like the right place. There's nowhere else online that it makes sense to post my, like, borderline thirst traps, you know? Remember to bring TP, water, and porn. Well, yeah, so I hadn't thought about bringing TP. That's a good point, I guess. Okay. I was just going to bring my stand to pee packer. But, yeah, water. I'm going to bring water. I got Gatorade. I'm going to bring Gatorade. And then I'll have my phone, so I'll be all set on porn. But poop, am I one of those weird people who just like doesn't feel the need to go poop when you're in an unfamiliar place? Like, I can't imagine being camping and having the urge to poop. How does porn help with camping? Well, I mean, you got to keep yourself entertained somehow. It's going to get dark, and then it's going to be like, okay, well, there's not really much light around here. Not gonna lie, one time I got caught during a hike and had to poop. Not gonna make that mistake again. Okay. Sometimes poop is just gonna poop. I'm also like a really fairly regular morning pooper. So that's like another reason why I'm not too worried about it. Balik, thank you so much for the $10 dono. I appreciate that. I hope that you're enjoying hanging out. That is always good to see number go up, brr. Oh yeah, number go up, brr. Thank you. If you do much hiking, the motion is going to make your bowels move faster. Travel constipation is a known phenomenon. Yeah, yeah, I'll just shit myself. Remember, we tried to save your pants. All right, you know. Did you guys like the new sound? The new dono sound? I tried to adjust it all so that it would be like, you'd be able to hear it. Y'all, I want you to know that this is the city slicker version of camping, essentially. I'm like glamping, basically. I'm going to a place where there are bathrooms. So I'm not really worried about, there may or may not be toilet paper there. But there are for sure going to be toilets, all right? What's up, Icarus? Welcome to the website. I didn't hear it. Someone donate? Oh, no. There are several white names in the chat, but that's okay. It do be like that. We talking about poop? Yeah, for a minute we were talking about poop, Squisher King. Mostly because people are giving me a lot of tips for camping. Ooh, so this is going to be fun. I am going to be going... Oh, by the way, there's like 60 people in here. Thank you for hanging out. This is the beginning hour of my stream. If you don't know, if you're not already familiar, I hang out usually for the first hour. We've just started about 20 minutes ago. And then we'll actually get into the politics stuff after that point. So thanks for hanging out. Welcome. I hope that you're having a good time. Hit the like button if you want to, because that always helps the channel directly, and it's free and it's fast. So thank you so much. I'm from New York. I've never been camping. There's upstate New York has got so many places to camp. I actually have some friends, some friends who used to live near me who were like big into hiking and camping, and they would travel to go hiking and camping. And now they live in New York. And I just saw them posting pictures of like going camping and like being outside and hiking and shit. Like they, you can do that in New York. What is poison oak? It's like is it a tree? It's a plant, kind of like poison ivy that people be allergic to. It's a spicy tree. Welcome, Xantasy. Oh, is it a vine? A bush, maybe? Because, like, poison ivy tends to stay kind of low to the ground. I think poison oak is something that you can come in contact with, like it's a little bit taller. Not sure. Hello, NBJ. Max, thank you so much. Okay, did we hear the thing that time? I tried to make it loud enough. $15 dono, thank you. Happy travels. I appreciate. I did a 15-mile hike yesterday, which was a personal best. Yeah, so like that was just a noise that I made during stream, and someone suggested that I make it the actual new sound, and I did it. Oh gosh. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow's going to be a very busy day for me because I'm going to wake up in the woods, and I am going to, get my shit together, probably start breaking my stuff down fairly early. Then I'm going to come back home. I'm going to make my coffee. I'm going to like try to maybe get some editing work done in the morning if I can. And then like I got to work on stuff for the like the tutoring that I've been doing with my siblings. And then I'm going to, if you don't look, you can't tell that's a sound and not just you doing that. That's funny. Cryptic message suggesting misogyny here. Excellent, Old Man Vox. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Enjoy your dicks. And then tomorrow is my first day lifting weights for the purpose of like bulking, which I haven't done since like 2016. And I injured myself the last time I very seriously was lifting weights. So I think I'm probably just going to not do deadlifts. Like, I think I'm just going to not do deadlifts at all because that's what I injured myself doing last time. It just seems like a better idea to leave it completely alone. I have a membership, to a gym. It's one that I've had for a while, like, that I think just has been auto-renewing, you know what I mean? It's not expensive, so it's like to have the option to go there. And I figured out exactly what time the gym is the least busy. Do you have normal oak in the USA? Yeah, we sure do. It's fucking everywhere, actually. We have oak all over the place. Oak is one of those things where I've come to understand that in places like I think we have a couple of different kinds of oak. Like in places like Australia, there are certain kinds of wood that we would put on the fire because of how common it is here. But then they're like rare and difficult to get a hold of. What's the eradicating transgenderism about? So someone explicitly said that on camera recently, and it's still in the hangout, enjoy ourselves part of the stream, but in about like 30 to 40 minutes, we'll get in detail and like watch the video and talk about it a little bit more. IDK, how to find a good gym, what to look for, but I need to, because it's going to be 90 plus degrees here soon. Yeah, you're going to want to go inside somewhere. I don't know if there's a good, mostly the gym that I go to is like for old people. So I kind of just go because there are not very many people there. Yeah, we have ash trees here. Maybe not as much, but we do have ash trees here. Oaks aren't very closely related to poison oak. No, I didn't think that they were. I'm thinking of getting back into working out. Listen, I hope that if I do something healthy for me, I'm telling you about it because, like, I think that people do have interpersonal influence on each other. And, like, I am an influencer, hashtag influencer. That's my job. And if I can influence you when you're like, oh, the exercises that you're doing are making me feel like I want to go do that. And like, oh, you're going outside and camping and hiking? I haven't been camping in a while. Maybe I should do that. Yes. Positive, reciprocal influence. We're doing it. I am really upset a lot of the time right now. Like, I'm going to I don't really go into detail, I think, on these things. Like, maybe I like mention them a bit, but like, it's like bad, the effect that COVID and the transgenderism bullshit and like the fucking, like all of these things having an extremely negative effect on me. And I don't know how to deal with it. And I am gonna like freak out if like it's just so intensely bad. And I'm so deeply upset most of the time that I just have to figure something else out. You know, I have to like do something. That is my thing here. Transmaxing is so weird. Wait, is that like a real thing that people have been, because I've kind of seen people mention it, but I thought that it was a joke. Transmaxing, like the idea that an incel would decide to transition and like become more sexually successful that way. Like, because the maxing concept in incel communities tends to have to do with like finding some trait and maxing it out. Like, it's like a video game term, isn't it? They're talking about maxing out one stat over the other ones. So whether it's like fitness or like getting surgery, or like in this case, the idea is like, oh, just take estrogen and then boys will want to fuck you or whatever. Like, or then you'll be able to have sex with other transbians or something, you know? I need someone to literally drag me to the gym with them and convince me that it'll be fun. I mean, you can start at home. That's what I did. So I'm about to switch basically from doing calisthenics to doing weightlifting. Calisthenics means using your own body weight. Like if you're doing push-ups, that's calisthenics. If you do pull-ups, like literally any of these things. And so I do one that is meant for you to scale it up in difficulty. So like if you haven't been exercising for a while, push-ups are probably going to be pretty difficult to do at first, and probably pretty difficult to do very many of them. So that would be kind of like starting out with high weight, low repetition work if you just went straight to like trying to push up your whole body weight. So instead, the program that I was doing has you start with wall push-ups, and it wants you to incrementally work up to the point where you can do 50 of them in 3 sets. So like 150 over the course of like the 10 or 15 minutes that it takes you to do it, and like rest in between. So that's what I started to do. Yeah, body weight workouts are very important. Someone make a clown maxing document? Oh no. I'm not online enough for this conversation, and I'm very online. Keffels did a video reading some of the transmaxing guide a while back. There's a transmaxing guide. I didn't know that. We're still at the beginning of the stream, James. We're still in our first like 30 minutes of just chilling and hanging out. And then, so when you start doing it at home, maybe like just commit to doing like 4 weeks of a calisthenics program. It's called, the one that I do is called hybrid calisthenics. Very easy. The guy is super nice and chill. You can watch his videos if you need some like gentle encouragement to get started. And do that for like 4 weeks. And then once you are out of that 4 weeks, like you'll start to notice a difference. You'll start to feel better, and you'll like, these muscles up here change pretty quickly for me. So, like I already feel like just doing from calisthenics for like 8 weeks, I guess, I was like, oh, my shoulders are already starting to like change shape, which is what encouraged me to then go, oh, you know what I could do on top of that is switch to like actual weightlifting for a few weeks. What you're supposed to do is switch back and forth between like low weight, high repetition for like 4 to 6 weeks. Well, you're basically supposed to change up your exercise every 4 to 6 weeks so that you don't plateau. But the way that I'm going to do this is like 4 to 6 weeks of body weight exercise, and then 4 to 6 weeks of pushing it, like, I mean, being gentle as like much as I can and not like damage myself, because your ligaments and stuff do need time to catch up. But pushing it and trying to lift weight like a lot for 4 to 6 weeks, and then switch back. Do I have a link? Yeah, it's just, okay. Oh, also he's kind of cute. Okay, the one that I do is that one. And then when I'm doing, my actual lifting, I think what I've decided to do is basically do an arms and chest day, and then do like legs and back day. And so like Monday is going to be chest and arms, and shoulders, really. I mean, so not really so much chest, I guess, but like shoulders, chest, and arms. And then like, so Mondays and Thursdays, upper body. And then Tuesdays and Fridays, lower. Yes. Yeah. The hybrid calisthenics guy. He's super wholesome. He's super duper nice. So it's important to take actual rest days too. I'm going to be, so I have like the heavyweight lifting days 4 days a week. You don't really get much, like 3 to 5 days a week is generally considered good. And it's also, you want to limit yourself to maybe a maximum of 45 minutes to an hour of your total like time that you're spending working, because like any more than that, and you're just like incurring more damage than you need to heal from. Like, it's just, yeah, you want to calculate a certain amount of tearing your muscles, and not too much, and then that'll start to like heal up, right? Yeah, I learned about hybrid calisthenics probably from like Facebook video or something like that. I need to exercise more, but it's cold. If you can have a gym membership and safely work out there, I'm going to be wearing my N95 at the gym, by the way. And like, I'm specifically going at a time of day that I know that there aren't going to be very many people there. Priorities, y'all. Ooh. We love drinking water. Hail hydrate. Oops. Was that my chopsticks falling on the floor? Oh, chopsticks. Ooh. I ate ramen a couple nights ago, and I haven't put this bowl in the kitchen yet. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. True. Oh, I have to shovel for 30 minutes just to leave my house to go work out. Oh, that's a workout in and of itself. Yeah, true. Hello, Celtic Warrior. What's up? I'm a new guy. My brother literally ordered me to check the live stream. So I guess thanks to your brother. My name's Luxander, and I'm trans, and I talk about politics a lot. But we also do these like chill parts of the stream where we just kind of talk about whatever the fuck I want to. Lux might have just inspired me to listen to the stream on a walk or a bike ride. Listen, if you have the data for it, absolutely. And the VODs, listen, I'm going to try to figure out what to do with the VODs. I'll figure it out soon. For now, there are some vlogs from like a few months ago on the vlog channel. But yeah, I still haven't decided what to do with that. I used dumbbells, kettlebells, Indian clubs, calisthenics, and isometric exercises. I've also started walking a lot more as well, taking a daily walk during lunch breaks as the weather gets warmer. Right, yeah. That's what initially kind of inspired me to go camping, is because I've been going out and like hiking, and so I'm around nature and I'm around campgrounds, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. So like, going to walks regularly is a good idea as well. It'll be good for you to get into nature. I was thinking about, like, do I want to get a bicycle? I don't think so, actually. I don't think I want to do that. Maybe if I lived in a place that was more friendly to them, perhaps. But no, I don't want to, like, have to drive with my bike to go use it somewhere where it's more convenient. The link is not porn. Yeah, shoveling and, like, sweeping for some reason is a very intense cardio exercise for me. There's a muscle that can help you burn fat while sitting. I don't need help burning fat while I'm sitting, okay? Like, do you have any idea how much my leg is just like all the time? All the time, forever. I'm burning calories constantly. I'm into fitness whole cake in my mouth. Oh my God, that's like a totally separate aspect of it. Listen, so in order to gain muscle, you actually have to be eating more than you are burning. So you're like, okay, you're exercising and therefore you're burning calories because you're fucking lifting weights, and that's like using energy in your body, right? Ooh, 69 concurrent viewers. Nice. Would it be cool if we had 69 likes as well? I think it would be pretty cool. But like, you actually have to, if you ever want to build muscle, you have to have more calories than you're burning. And I find this really difficult. Like, I find this, well, it's more Swiffering than sweeping, I guess. More like when you're back and forth. And also, my frame of reference for sweeping includes like years of sweeping off rugs at like the convenience stores. So you kind of really have to go. Yeah, so I'm like just not hungry enough. So I started trying to increase my calories the week before. And like, this is, I get it. The calorie counting part of this is like a triggering potentially conversation, and my apologies. I'm like literally just not hungry a lot of the time. Am I supposed to count calories now on top of working out? Right. So I have like the MyFitnessPal app, and because I've used that periodically over the course of the years, and every single time I use it, it's because I don't think I'm eating enough. And like, I'm like, okay, I need to be able to set a target for like, that's how much I'm supposed to eat today. And I end up doing things like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to eat like a Swiss cake roll, because that's like 500 calories from 2 of those little things, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I gotta pat it out somewhere. I want a burger. Yeah, and that too. There's been a couple times recently where I've been like, oh, you know, I'm trying not to eat fast food, but I do have these calorie goals, and so I'm gonna go get a Wendy's 5 for $5. Oh, God. I've never actually had my body fat percentage looked at, but I'm a skinny bitch, so I don't know why I would. I mean, I'm like not, I'm not like dangerously skinny, you know, but Wendy's Dave Double. You know, the 5 for $5 meal is very convenient, but it is also a markedly poorer quality product, don't you think? If any of you have had like a regular Wendy's meal and then tried the 5 for $5 meal, it's like the bread is one of the big things that I notice. It's just a different quality bread. Oh, Celtic Warrior. Okay, you're brothers with Igor. Okay, cool. That's cool. Or siblings with Igor. That's sweet. I'm hungry literally all the time, and I go searching for food. I grew up anorexic, and now I'm eating like all the time. I feel like that's good to switch into. Like, I don't know, like, you don't want to overdo it, I guess, and especially you don't want to develop like a habit of overeating and then purging. But if I always kind of indulge myself. If I go in one of my periods of time where I'm really stressed out, because I do this thing where I'm like just stressed and my body won't let me eat, I'll be sitting there chewing like a delicious bite of bacon and I can't fucking swallow it because I'm just like, my body's like, nah, no. I'm like, okay, great, that's awesome. So when I swing back into being hungry and having an appetite, I really just go for it because I'm like, someday I'm gonna be stressed out and unable to eat, so I need to have the fat now. Like, I need to have the weight now. It would be cool if I lived in a world where that kind of stress wasn't just like a regular part and parcel part of the life that I have to live, but whatever, we're working on it, I guess. To be fair, there's a better than average chance Lux listens to the dough debates during workouts at some point in the future. I mean, that's entirely true. I have them downloaded on my YouTube downloads playlist. Like, specifically the dough versus RGR, and then like Demon Mama's response and Vash's response. I just have those on my phone in case I'm ever in the mood to listen to them, which happens more often than you would think. Dough hasn't posted any content in like over a year. I know that it joins other people's streams sometimes nowadays, but I don't think that it's posted any actual content in a long time. But I mean, it used to be like anarchist stuff. Basically, like what Dough puts on Twitter is anarchist stuff. Christy, lately stress has been getting in the way of me eating at all. It's not healthy. It's not good for you. Oh, there's a banana. I'm gonna eat a banana. Ooh. Talking about food started to make me hungry. Oh. Someone please tell me where I left my bee-hook. I can't help you, Winter Nightmare. Yeah, Doe had a discussion with Professor Sunday about genocide a while back. But yeah, I mean, it has not been, like, streaming. Really, like, I think the last time I recall Doe streaming was the RGR debate. Although maybe it continued for a little while after that. Stress makes me overeat. It's a bad problem to have either direction, you know? Like, I can't even say, like, wow, that sounds like a great problem to have. Like, overeating sounds way better than undereating, like, because they both fucking suck. It's, like, not good for your body to just have these random signals that you yourself as a person don't have control over, you know? Haven't had a banana in forever. So, I decided to do the low FODMAP thing because I want to try to figure out what my food triggers are. I have weird poops and lots of abdominal cramps, so I'm trying to narrow it down, which means that when I go to the grocery store these days, I'm trying to buy foods that are not supposed to be triggers, which consequently means that I'm buying foods that are actually, like, healthier in some ways, because they don't have as much, like, carbs. Like, carbs is one of the main things, I guess. I do my best to minimize the food sounds. I don't care that I'm fat. I just want to be fat in the right places. True. I want the fat ass. What your pronouns? Oh, I also wanted to show you this thing that I'm in the process of making. So I've had Packers before, but the Packers always have balls on them, and I don't want balls. So I am making myself a Packer that is just like a tube, and it has like a ridge. So I'm doing this so that I'll be able to have like an idea of what my custom dick might look like, so that I can wear it in my pants and like acclimate myself to the idea of having one. I remember you mentioning FODMAP. The first time I did that, I developed an eating disorder and went down to 110. It is easy to lose weight on a low FODMAP diet. I am actually choosing a diet that it's hard to gain weight on, and I'm choosing to do it at the same time that I'm about to gain a lot of weight. So I've just like kind of added some challenge to this. Yeah, it's crochet. But the thing about it being crochet is that it's not just crochet, it's amigurumi. So you need a hook that's only 2.25 millimeters. Tiny hook. See? I also don't want urethral lengthening. So it's not really going to make peeing any more convenient for me either. Oh, my husband is allergic to bananas. Oh, that fucking sucks. Bananas in Brazil are noticeably better than American bananas. I've heard that fruits in general are much better in other countries. Like I've heard that, for example, blueberries are much more tasty in other places and potentially more nutritious. I don't think UL is worth the risk personally. Right, and like not only, and like if you're like me and you don't want to have vaginectomy, then your increased complication risk from, like most surgeons won't even attempt to give you urethral lengthening if you're not planning on getting vaginectomy, right? Like the risk is just crazy. I mean, it's not like it'll kill you, but I mean, the chance that you will not ever succeed in building the new urethra. Bananas attract mosquitoes in the summer when you eat them. Well, good thing I'm eating this inside. But that's good to know. I'm gonna bring bug spray, you know. Oh, that's an interesting fun fact, Gentle Rose. Banana allergies come from the same source as latex allergies because banana peels and latex have the same basic chemical compounds. Okay. Bananas, apples, and kiwis are definitely better abroad. Everything is better than the US. Have you heard that, like, folks from Europe, for example, if they come visit the US, if they continue eating the same kinds of food that they were eating back home, they don't change their exercise, and they start to gain weight, and then again, they move home, and they make no changes to their diet or exercise, and they lose the weight again. Because American food is just filled with a lot of extra bullshit and fucking high fructose corn syrup. Ooh, but all is lost in the YouTube chat is working toward getting top surgery. But you gotta get a lot of like doctor's permission bullshit going on. I mean, it's Juniper was saying I had been considering the type of surgery you're talking about, but I realized I love what I have now, so now I just have a bunch of phalloplasty related knowledge for no reason. You're able to fight back against misinformation. Listen, there's still so much misinformation about bottom surgery. People are like, oh, it doesn't even work. You can't even, like, it doesn't even look real. You can't, like, everybody will always know that it's fake. And like, Hunty. So if you know things, then you're able to like share info about it later with people who don't know any better, right? Look up what banana looked like before we domesticated them. It's wild. I've actually seen it before, but we can look it up. Ooh, delicious. Okay. Where are we going? Bananas before we domesticated them. Yeah, they look like this. They're small, and they're much more curvy, and they are filled with disgusting seeds. So we, like, bred them to reduce the amount of seeds in them, and then we increase the amount of flesh in there. Yeah, rave party. I've also considered going into aftercare for people post-bottom surgery. I don't think that there's very many people doing that. It's okay, those bananas were just cold. They were just cold. They're very cold and fertile. You know, that's like, don't ever discount the small ones, because they might be able to give you a good dose of juice. Christ. Oh, geez. Drink some water. Hail hydrate, y'all. I should probably have like a couple of links ready. If I'm gonna do this like segment in a segmenty style, like it's gonna be a capital segment. Every time someone makes that rave noise, it always just sounds like to me like they're saying eat, eat, eat. How does that, like... I don't actually think that phalloplasty and vaginoplasty Like, I don't really think that you could say that phallo is more difficult than vaginoplasty. Because, like, with phalloplasty, you're working outside the body. You're doing a skin graft. And, like, actually skin grafts are done all the fucking time. But, like, creating a functional cavity inside someone's body while, like, not disturbing the musculature around there and not, like, perforating the body cavities, like, that's way fucking harder. That's insanely harder. Like, yeah, phalloplasty has to happen in multiple stages in a way that vaginoplasty doesn't typically, but, you know. Different kinds of difficult, fair enough. Yeah, see ya, Anthony. I believe that's called a glottal kunk. 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 Why is that word so funny? Kunk. Oh, man, that's good. Kunk. I don't know what, yeah, it's like, it's quite I've never been able to figure out how to tell someone how to do that. If you don't intuitively know how to go, excuse me, how to burp, then I don't know how to tell you how to do it, except maybe, like, make a gorilla sound. Like, if you're like, ooh, ooh, ooh. That's kind of similar. Oh, you may, okay, but kunk is such a good word. It should be called that, a glottal kunk. Oh, man. What I don't know about phallo is what's inside the skin graft. Like, I know they take some arm skin for the shaft, but what's in the middle? So, the skin grafting process. So when you take the skin graft from the arm, and that actually is what becomes the penis, you're taking not only the skin, but also the subcutaneous layer of fat. And then in order to cover that, like, you're taking all the fat and, like, graphic warning, imagine, if you will, that you can just see the muscles and tendons exposed. Like, temporarily, that's what's going to be happening. There is not going to be a protective layer of fat. And then you have a partial skin graft taken from your leg, which only takes, like, the top couple of layers, like the top, like maybe the second layer of skin, with the second layer of dermis, I should say. Like, they remove part of that skin from your leg, and then they bring that onto your arm. And so that's the reason why there's that indentation in phalloplasty arms, is because they remove the subcutaneous fat. You can replace the subcutaneous fat layer with like a synthetic kind of scaffolding that your body learns to build fat on top of, essentially. That's, I think, the best way to describe Integra. And yeah, so it's like the stuff that's inside the penis is like fat, and then eventually there's like the cylinder for the erectile thingy. What does grow back on the arm? I mean, like, yeah, so if you place that scaffolding in, it can, like, it basically tells your body, hey, put fat here. So it'll just continue to store fat there the way that it normally would, I guess. Yeah, but it's like a tricky surgery to do, which is why I'm like, if I go get this done, I'm going to get it done at a place that does hand. It's like a team of hand surgeons and urogenital surgeons to make sure that you keep the functionality of your hand. 'Cause it is fucking brutal. Like, you're removing, like, the skin and the subcutaneous fat. Yeah, there's a way around the indentation now. Yeah. And I think that they're increasing the number of options available with that. And it's, like, less notable. Like, even some people who don't have Integra, sometimes after a few years, it starts to look pretty normal anyway. Do I have... Oh my god, I'm breaking out all over the place lately. It's pretty annoying. The more you know... Yeah, Doctor Strange is going to be performing my surgery. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about being shaky. He's got the magical precision. That's superhuman precision, y'all. Oof. Oh yeah, so I actually do need to finish writing my weightlifting workout. I'm gonna have to do that, like, tomorrow morning, I guess. I've got like a few exercises that I know I'm gonna try to incorporate. I don't like doing ones that are just like focusing on one muscle group, although I might end up doing those if I feel like I'm not getting results the way that I want to. But it's better to do something that incorporates more than one muscle group if you're working out. Yeah, that's kind of an awkward phrasing, Lily. Yeah, so the reason why the nerve hookup thing is like, so you take the skin graft from the arm because there are two nerves that run up and down this way that they are able to harvest, which then they use to hook up both tactile and erogenous sensation. If you get a skin graft from somewhere else and use that to primarily build your penis, like you can do that with a skin graft from the thigh, for example. That's another common location. The skin graft one has one nerve that they hook up, and that gives you tactile sensation and like heat and cold. So you can feel things, but it's not necessarily the same as like pressing the eroticism button on your body. And so, yeah, but then when you do this part, it gives you the hookup directly to the eroticism part. And you kind of like, it's depends on the person, and like your nerve growth success is going to vary. But generally speaking, it can give you sexual feeling and like hot and cold and all that regular stuff. And they have a couple of different options for erectile devices, and also there's the possibility of urethral lengthening. So like all of the meaningful ways that you can use a penis can be accomplished by phalloplasty. Like keep in mind, y'all, phalloplasty is a procedure that was developed for cis men. So when you're thinking like, oh, does it have sensation? Think to yourself like, if science were motivated to give a cis man his penis back because it got exploded in war, would they like stop short? Would they like try really hard to make it work the way that you want it to? Like keep in mind that this was not developed for us. So to the extent that you think a cis male dominated field like medicine would be motivated to help cis men get their penises back, yeah, like, so yes, they can feel sexually, they can pee through them, they can be used for sex with an erectile device. Even sometimes men have an erectile device put inside their regular cisgender penis because they cannot get hard, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, just only Doctor Strange at the start of the movie. He was like a brain surgeon though. Science do be really fucking cool. I mean, bottom surgery is not uniquely painful. It is, just as painful as any other surgery. So it's like you really only want to get it if you really need it, for sure, Lisa. Yeah, science is very cool. I fucking love science. Anybody a Hank Green and the Perfect Stranger? Is that what Hank Green and the Perfect Strangers? Is that the band? I wouldn't so much as let a doctor bump my knee with a little hammer if it wasn't developed for cis men. Okay, listen, I just need to complain for a minute. I don't want to get too far on this today because maybe it's going to be a situation that resolves itself relatively soon. But so I had an IUD installed in August, like at the end of August, and I have not been having a good time with it. It has been consistently painful. Like I get crampy all the time because your body is like, hey, there's a foreign object in here. Get it out of here. And I called this week because I get this really intense pain. I think it's premenstrual cramps. I get this really intense pain that makes me genuinely think that something might be seriously wrong with me. And I need to have it taken out. And like once it's taken out, if this thing that has been happening to me on a regular basis continues to happen, this particular sharp pain, I am going to have to be screened for like other potentially life-threatening issues because that's how bad it hurts. So, but I called this week and I was like, hey, can I make an appointment to have it taken out? Because, I called the same clinic that put it in, a few months back. And it's a place that I've been going on and off for a while. And she like the lady was like, okay, let me send them a message. I'll send your care team a message because I'm talking to a receptionist. She was like, I would definitely see if it has slipped. It hasn't. It's been hurting like this since the day that they put it in, and I had a transvaginal ultrasound. Like, this is a saga of fucking incredible incompetence, by the way, that I don't even know if I'm going to get into all the details of it right this second. But, so, I mean, so basically it's already been a bunch of bullshit, and now I want it taken out, and she was like, well, let me let them know they might want to do an appointment first. Like, they might want to have you come in and talk about why you want it removed before they set the appointment to have it removed. And I was sitting there like, no, they're fucking not. And then she called me later and was like, yeah, so they do want to have you come in. So in about a month, we'll schedule your appointment in a month, but we'll also put you on the cancellation list so that if someone cancels, then, we'll be able to fit you in, right? And I said, I'm going to go ahead and call you back. And she was like, do you want me to go ahead and put you on the books for that appointment? And I was like, listen, I actually think it is horrendous that they're trying to make me come in for an appointment. Like, first of all, you're asking me to risk my health with COVID coming into your office to have a 5-minute conversation about why I want the IUD removed. Like, the fucking answer is because I want it out. You know what I mean? I'm like trying not to be shitty to this lady over the phone. And I apologized to her. I was like, I want you to know that, like, I'm frustrated, but not with you, and I'm not trying to be shitty to you. Like, so they want me to come in and, like, justify why I want it taken out before they'll take it out. And I'm like, why does she need anything more than a phone call with me? Like, I should just be able to tell you, the receptionist, that I want this thing out of my body, and then you take it out. Like, I am livid. I am fucking livid. So if she calls me back tomorrow, like, actually what I'm going to do is tomorrow morning I'm going to call another clinic and, like, just ask them, can I, as a brand new patient, will you let me just fill out the paperwork and take the fucking IUD out? It's going to take 5 minutes. Like, it's so much easier and faster to take out an IUD than it is to put one in. Like, my other doctor has made it sound like, oh, it should be no big deal. And I would have him do it, except that he doesn't have a fucking office right now. Yeah, it may be medically necessary for you to give us more money for a consultation. Can Planned Parenthood take it out? I mean, I'm going to figure that out. Yeah. There aren't very many Planned Parenthoods in Kansas anymore, because at some point in the past, some legislation changed that basically the kind of things that regulate a number of abortion clinics is stupid shit. Like, well, it has to have a hallway big enough for 2 gurneys to pass by each other because it's providing certain kinds of medical procedures. Therefore, it needs to be regulated the same as a hospital in this way. And then, like, they end up, like, not being able to open a new Planned Parenthood, Isn't the fact that it hurts like hell a good reason to have it removed? Perhaps your clinic is afraid they've done something wrong and they're afraid that they're liable for malpractice. I mean, it is malpractice. Like, so the situation was, we had a consultation. Like, I understand the idea that they want me to have a conversation with them about the IUD before they set the appointment to put it in. Like, that part makes sense. Like, a year ago when I was getting this process started, fucking fine to come in. But, like, during the time that we consult about the IUD, you should say things like, hey, so this, like, I want you to understand that this procedure is extremely painful to some people, and to the extent that, like, some people pass out during the procedure. And so, that should be part of your decision making in getting it. Because I was choosing between the IUD and the arm implant thing, and I thought, oh, maybe the IUD would be better because it has local hormones that won't affect my entire body in the way that having this, like, thing in my arm would. And yeah, if they had told me what the realistic reality of getting the IUD would be like, I would have not gotten it. So then when I'm in the stirrups in, like, a sexually vulnerable position with a doctor who I am trying to trust, and then she says, this is the sucky part. and then yanks my cervix around with a claw 4 times. And like, I had no idea what I was getting in for. I begged her to stop involuntarily. Like I did not mean to say the words, and they came out anyway. And it put me in shock for several hours. And then I have fucking PTSD again. I had resolved my PTSD symptoms, and now it's back again. And the thing in my body that is causing my PTSD to continue to be like, I think that's part of why I'm not resolving after the traumatic incident, is because the pain in that space is still there. So like, yeah, she did not, like what happened to me was assault, because it was not something I consented to. I had no idea. She did not make any attempt to prepare me for how fucked up it was going to be to like my body. So yeah, you would think that they would use local anesthetic. I think for some reason, local anesthetic doesn't work on that part of the body. I'm not sure exactly what the deal is, but I have heard of people going under general anesthetic for it. And I think that that would be reasonable. Like, Jesus. So I just want it fucking taken out. And if they won't take it out, I'm like, if they won't take it out without making me have an appointment first, even if it's telehealth, because she was saying, you know, I was like, yeah, she's going to make me risk my health with COVID to come in and have a conversation with her. She was like, oh, they might be able to do it over telehealth. I'm like, no, bitch. Like, if they require me to do any amount of gatekeeping before giving me the appointment to have it taken out, I am never going back there. And I'm going to make sure that nobody I know in the local area where I live ever goes there either. Because it's like really fucked up. Yeah, so that's pretty much like where I'm at with medical care right this moment. Family planning centers, from my understanding, are better than OBGYNs for birth control. It's really its own specialty. Anyway, I'm like really salty about it because I'm still having cramps and it's like an almost daily thing. That's why I'm about to do an extremely restrictive diet for a short period of time, because I am having such intense abdominal cramps all the time that I need to start cutting out potential influences on that. Like the IUD has to come out. I'm going to change the way that I'm eating dramatically, and because something has to get, like, I'm going to fucking lose it. If I have like these, this bad of cramping on a regular basis from now on, it's not going to be cool. Okay, so I'm ready to kind of like probably segue soon into talking about the actual news. You all have been very patient. Thank you for hanging out. There's like almost 80 people in here. So I'm going to get some linky-loos ready. And then I'm going to take like a short break to the bathroom, and then we'll start talking about it. Okay. Actually drink this water now. This fucking guy. So I guess we're just gonna do our main story right off the top of the bat today, and we'll talk about any other additional news that we have afterward. Where is this guy's? Oh yeah, so there's 2 different videos from this guy that I need to look at. Which one happened first? Like, I don't know. Michael Knowles? I didn't even know who this dude was. Trans community, it's time for your weekly genocide attempt. Yes, dear. Yeah, exactly. You could file a complaint with Medicaid too if they're behaving badly enough as well. Why would I be able to file a complaint with Medicaid if I don't have Medicaid? The CPAC one is worse. Okay, so we can start with the one off the actual Michael Knowles show. Because on his show and then at CPAC. Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. That seems like the correct order to do this in. Cool. There's 2 on his show. The one that I have right now is a 2-minute, 13-second video from his show. Oh, there's an even more recent one in response. Okay, let me see if I can go to his Twitter and find it. Oh, baby. Where does he actually have? He has a Twitter, right? Because he said, he was like, this is libel. He was like, this is libel. I linked someone in Stream Rex. Okay, yeah. I always forget that I need to check that. I mean, I check it during the week, and then when I'm actually getting ready for stream, I'm being dumb. I thought you had Medicaid. Yeah, no, I don't have Medicaid. I live in Kansas, and it's not been expanded here. Stream recommendations. Oofy doofy? Oh no. Okay, hold on. Where? I'm getting my links together, y'all, so that we can actually have a conversation about this that flows well. Normally I do this off stream. TBH. Okay, I guess I'm not seeing the Michael Knowles thing in here. We did have that good news this week about the bill in Arkansas being defeated. That was pretty lit. Okay, where is... I just want his Twitter. This guy. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me reduce this. Come back here. Oh. I don't have the CPAC one. I have the CPAC one. Yeah. Thank you. What is this? Wow, my computer is not loading very quickly, TBH. Oh, okay, so there's an even older one. All right, so this one is probably first. And then this one. Okay, cool. By the way, Lux, speaking of transgenocide, my colleagues and I are moving forward with the plan to fundraise a charity operation to get trans peoples out of harm's way. Gonna work with local orgs here in Pittsburgh so they won't be fucked without resources to recover too. That's good. Yeah, I will need to... I have had a couple people reach out to me, actually, about setting up some mutual aid, like Underground Railroad type shit. So I need to get back in touch with those folks. I just fucking hate DMing people so much. But I've had a couple people reach out to me, and I think that this is going to be it's going to have to be the main focus. Yeah, please message me the GFM for sure. Assemble the chrono puzzle for the stream. Yeah, it's really frustrating to not have health insurance, though. Like, I don't have Medicaid. It's pretty irritating. Okay, so this one is the 2 minutes 13. Yeah, Where is the tweet where he said, okay, there it is. That's what I wanted. Okay, cool. There we go. I want to give everyone here a hug. Right. It's so difficult. The bureaucracy in healthcare is ridiculous. I'm in my 6th month trying to get a short-term disability claim approved. Just so much red tape. And I've already been given the leave, just no pay. This dude is wet mulch. Oh my God. Yeah, so Squisher King says, I don't know what's worse, the fact that these right-wingers are becoming increasingly more genocidal, or the fact that there doesn't seem to be mainstream opposition to it, or at least not strong mainstream opposition. It's so disheartening. Like, I need people to care, and it just feels like they don't, or it feels like they're overwhelmed or something. Like, There's a lot of things that I wish people cared about, and it just seems like they don't. And it's starting to feel like people think that there's something wrong with me for caring about a lot of things. Anyway, so I'm gonna take just a quick step away, use the restroom, refill my water cup. I have gotten some of these notes together so that we can talk about, oh, this is gonna go over here, I think. So we're gonna talk about Michael Knowles and the statements that he's been making in like a proper little segment. A proper little seggy. Yeah, my parents came here to give me a better life, but the American dream was just crushed for me. It sucks. Even people who grew up here are like, yeah, we were promised something and we're just not going to get it. Kansan Capybara says, pretty busy day today. Finally have my motorcycle running. Just wanted to check in for a bit and like the stream. Thank you. And if you are in Kansas, the weather has been nice lately, so you might be able to get a ride in today. I'm planning on being outdoors later today, so I think the weather is just finally nice enough to be out in it. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna grab this water. Be good. Back in a mo. Appreciate you. Hit like while I'm gone. Okay, babes? Be good. No wowies while I'm away. No wowies. Okay, bitches. We got water. Oh, we didn't even miss that many people. Woo! Ah, how dare you with the wowies. Oh my gosh. I feel like the media has been shifted more to the right because of Trump. We're still in the aftermath, and the media just kind of doesn't prioritize shit like queer rights. It's not going to be a good time. Hello, Salander. Yes, I was just thinking of you. You are one of the people that I need to get to DMing, because I am terrible with responding to DMs, but I know that you DM'd me. So I will do that. And hello, Emily. Why can't chat, dog? It's just a joke. Because in Vash's community, whenever he steps away, they do wowies, and they try to put a lot of them out before he gets back. And then when he gets back, they do the... What is the other one called? Where is the running away one? There's one with running away. Where's his feet? People run. It's this one. So like when he gets back, they do like, people run. Anyway, it's just like I'm just making references to other White Leaf community crossover. It's kind of like, I think honestly that one of the things that's wrong is that people are getting fatigued at the fact that there is so much fucked up shit happening all the time. And it's like, yeah, but the thing that you do is fight harder. White Leaf. Oh, the websites. The website that we're on is produced by like the White Leaf co-op org. So like Vosh has a White Leaf site. Jess and Xena have a White Leaf site. Like, is it White Forest? It's both White Leaf and White Forest, I thought. Yeah, but we stand the co-op. Haha, you got it. Very nice. Okay, so Michael Knowles is someone who I had never heard of until quite recently. It's like yet another white guy whose name I did not ever want to learn. He is a contributor to the Daily Beast, is it? He's a contributor to various far-right publications, and he has his own podcast thing, his own kind of show like what we do here called The Michael Knowles Show. So we're all pretty much the same amount of narcissistic, calling our shows after our own names. No big deal. The Arkansas bill did go down. Yes, the bathroom bill was tabled, sent back to committee. It's the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's site, same site as Matt Walsh. Okay, so no wonder they were retweeting each other. That makes perfect sense. So he has been showing up on my timeline for a little bit now, like a couple weeks now, basically, because he keeps saying stuff about, you know, banning transgenderism entirely and apparently attacking gay rights and marriage equality. And I have been, you know, putting off getting around to this, which is sometimes it's a good thing that I take forever to get around to covering the news, because that way we don't have to do multiple short segments about Michael Knowles. We can do one bigger segment covering several different videos that he has published. Because at first he was just saying this stuff on his show, but then he also made a statement at a Republican like CPAC meeting, and like apparently there was a certain kind of positive reception from the audience. So, you know, we're gonna go through some of this content and see what's what here. We have a couple of clips from his actual show and then the CPAC thing. So we'll watch 3 clips from him to see what this is about. Okay, I can close this. Don't need this open right this second. And we got to make sure our volumes are all set, which they usually are. What about SB43? Which one is SB43? I'm pretty sure I only know about Michael Knowles from like Vouch. Yeah. What does CPAC mean? Oh, Jesus, that's a great question. We should probably touch on that really fast. So yeah, the CPAC, for if those are not familiar, is the Conservative Political Action Conference. So it's like where a bunch of conservatives go to talk about their platform and the direction that their party is going to go, and they like, it's kind of like a mingling meet and greet for fundraisers, potentially, like, who are we going to support? And like, oh, if you do this for me, then I'll do this for you. Like schmoozing, you could call it, is something they do. And then they give like talks, and yeah, it's something that happens in the lead up to the election. We have more of these kind of meetings, I guess. It's extremely lame, right? It's probably the most lame. I typically have pretty strong opinions about how you should be protecting yourself from COVID still. This is one thing. The CPAC, you know what? No masks allowed at CPAC. You have fun, guys. Oh my God, you guys have fun. Go for it. You know, lock the doors, turn the air conditioner off, stay for a few days. Yeah, go for it. Thanks, babes. Oh, yeah, there we go. We are burpy. Okay, cool. They do like big music on a big stage with lots of lights, and out comes like some guy who says he hates gays in a monotone. It's truly an embarrassment. Oh my God, it's crazy. So this is, I believe, the oldest of these clips that we're going to look at today. And let's just go ahead and do that.
Entirely.
Shush.
You can't just ban it for the kids. It's got to be entirely.
Hold on, take it back.
In order for women to have the right to have their own bathrooms,
no,
you have to ban transgenderism entirely.
Hold on. I have to fix this. Momentarily. I'm going to make sure my volumes are good.
You can't just ban it for the kids.
Okay, I'm going to take it up just a little bit. Just a smidge. And put it back. Okay, so here we go. Michael Knowles, what are you talking about?
In order for women to have the right to have their own bathrooms, you have to ban transgenderism entirely. You can't just ban it for the kids. It's got to be
Yeah, so I don't know what he was saying leading into that clip, but he was saying that I don't even know what lead up could possibly be happening to make that statement okay. He's just like, nah, you got to ban transgenderism entirely. Like, in order for women to have safe public bathrooms, you have to do this thing. And it's exactly the same argument as was used against the idea of there being lesbians in the bathroom with women. It's like completely ignoring, like, a lot of abuse happens between, like, adult men and adult boys, and it can't happen in the men's bathroom. And, like, nobody is trying to segregate men out of, like, men are the people who do this more, like, the sexually assaulting people in public more than any other group. So, like, why is it not that we're making cisgender men have their own separate bathroom? Or like a children's bathroom versus an adult bathroom or something. I'm not saying that these are perfect solutions, but I'm just saying, why is the solution to a problem with men attacking people that we then have to legislate trans women's rights down? I mean, I know that they think trans women are men. Yeah, I get that. But, like, it's not, that's ultimately the problem. I forgot about his face. I always confuse him with that other guy, Matt Walsh. Well, the difference between Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh is that Michael Knowles, at least he has a chin going for him. There is that. Anyway, what else do you have to say, my dude?
Entirely. In order for women to be able to have their own locker rooms at the gym, you have to ban transgenderism entirely.
And he's not even saying you have to make separate but equal spaces. It's literally just ban it entirely from public at all. Like, you could easily be like, oh, we need to have more gender neutral family restrooms, like those ones that it's only one toilet in a room, like one toilet, one sink, sometimes a little changing table in one room with a door that locks. Like, you could even say that that's the only appropriate way to do it, but no, you jumping all the way to just nope entirely. It has to be gone.
In order to protect businesses from having to participate in weird occult sexual rituals, like
what? It's a literal witch hunt. Like, that's wild. That's wild. I'm sorry, we're stopping so often. We've only gotten 23 seconds into this video because he is managing to condense so much crazy bullshit into a small, tiny amount of space. We have to protect businesses from having to participate in these weird occult sexual practices. Like, what? It really makes me want to get, like, a pentacle tattoo somewhere on my body. Like, it truly just makes me want to lean in. Oh God. Anyway.
Like the transgender transition. You have to ban transgenderism entirely. I love this bill because it is so much more aggressive than the other bills we've seen. I don't mean to knock the other governors and the other state houses. They've done a great job laying the groundwork, but this bill goes much further, and it reminds us of a...
Yeah, so I think that he is referring to the bill in Arkansas, which was, this has actually been attempted in a couple of different places. Like, their new thing is that they are actually trying to make it a sex crime to be transgender in a bathroom near a child, essentially. So we haven't gotten into that on the channel yet because it's a fairly new development as of this past week, but we will get into it. He's so close to the point. Just ban gender. Just ban gender. No more gender allowed. Oh my gosh. But no, yeah, this is getting increasingly ridiculous. It's like, you know, we got to make fun of it because what the hell else are you going to do?
Truth in politics that Republicans all too often forget. You're either on offense or you're on defense.
Yeah, so he's just saying we need to go on the offensive against this marginalized group who is like has no power over society or anything.
You're either making gains in the culture or you're losing ground in the culture. There's no standing still. There's no status quo. There's no neutrality.
Honestly, I really wish that Democrats understood that, because that's how these people think. They think if you're not winning, you're losing. You know, like they really do seem to think that they always have to be pushing. And Democrats have a tendency to just be like, meh, 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 no worries, meh, meh, meh. Surely society will not slip backwards if we just, you know, tell them to keep getting out there and voting, and let's not do anything about gerrymandering. Like, everything's fine. That's why we're in this predicament, because Democrats are the fucking worst. Like, they are not on your side. They're not trying to help you. They don't want to help you, or they would be. They just want to go to brunch. Like, that's what Democrats want. They want to go back to brunch, babes. That's what their entire, like, political aim is, to just, like, not have to think about difficult things.
And what the conservatives have screwed up on for at least 50 years now, probably more, is the libs make some crazy aggressive play, and then we try to dial it back by about 5 to 10%.
That's that's fucking Darvo right there. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. That's literally exactly what they've been doing, is they do some crazy shit, like try to make abortion illegal, and then, like, we're like, no. So instead, like, oh my God, it's just the exact opposite. Like, it's just the exact opposite. What crazy radical forward motion has the left made in the last 50 years? But also, like, let's think back a little bit. 50 years ago, there were, I guess, some leftist pushes that happened like 50 to 60 years ago. Yeah. What was one way that society suddenly became much more progressive, like about 50 years ago? Does it have anything to do with, like, fucking Martin Luther King? Like, I don't know, man. It seems like they just don't want anything to be progressive, even the tiniest bit. Yeah, exactly. Literally, Leah, you said it right as I was thinking it. Like, anything, even the tiniest bit of progressive to them is like radical. Even the tiniest little changes. So yeah, if suddenly it becomes like an issue to try to segregate black people away from white people, they're gonna be like, oh my God, how dare you infringe on our right to not be around black people? Like, fundamentally, it's the same fucking thing. If today, when like a feminist, like a radical feminist, like a second wave feminist is like, I have a right to have a bathroom that doesn't have transgender men in it, which is the way that they say it, that doesn't have trans identified males in it. Fundamentally, what that is that's a belief in the idea that you have the right to not be around people that you think are icky. It's exactly the same boohoo white women like getting black men lynched because they said that they looked at them too long. Fucking, I'm so uncomfortable, he might hurt me bullshit. Like, it's crybaby bullshit. Cry bully bullshit. Matter of fact, it is cry bully bullshit. Oh my God.
Or worse, we try to slow it down by about 5 to 10%. So the libs attack the family through feminism. The fundamental
attack the family through feminism, because the conservative position is that you should stay with your husband no matter how much he beats you and molests your daughter.
Political institution. They claim that men and women are basically the same.
We are one of the species that is the least sexually dimorphic of the species that are sexually dimorphic. It's pretty hilarious, actually.
That takes the culture pretty far to the left, and then conservatives try to inch it back a little bit, but not by the...
Also, he's saying this like in the aftermath of having gotten rid of Roe v. Wade on the national level. How can you say, oh, the thing that's wrong with conservatives is that we have been incrementally like letting leftists win, but actually they've been incrementally taking away the right to abortion to the point where they succeeded on the national level to take away the national guaranteed right to an abortion. So it's not even... It's just continually like, I'm such a victim. You guys are taking away my rights. And, oh, you can't even be a Christian in this country anymore. Like, cry bully bullshit. God.
By the time they're even thinking about inching it back, the libs push forward with the normalization of other sexual practices, gay rights, among other things.
Oh, okay,
then,
yeah, so he's fully just being like, gay rights, we also want to roll that back. I was inferring all the parts where I was suggesting that he was, like, taking issue with racial equality. That was conjecture, but he straight up just said gay rights was, like, a leftist conspiracy that conservatives have allowed to take over the culture. Like, they're like, oh, the conservatives, we're losing the culture war. Oh, man. Wow.
By the time the conservatives are trying to dial that back, the libs, they've lurched much further to the left. They're trying to redefine marriage now. They say redefine marriage.
We've also only had gay marriage for what year was it? Y'all, what year was it? 2000. When was it that it became legal on the national level? 2015. It's literally been less than 10 years that it's been legal in the United States, much longer in Canada, of course. It's been legal in the United States for less than 10 years. And he's sitting here going like, that was an unnecessary lurch to the left that conservatives allowed to happen, and our country is on the decline because of it.
Well, I don't know. I guess we could come to some kind of terms with a civil union. And by the time you say that, whoop, they've lurched even further to the left. Now they're saying, actually, we've got transgenderism. Actually, now a man can become a woman. A man can become a woman, okay, but...
We've also been, again, like, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this over the course of my career, but we've been around for fucking forever, trans people, and it's not new. Seriously, go watch some Jerry Springer episodes from the 90s. It's not that new.
Maybe we shouldn't do it to by the time we say that, whoop, oh my gosh, we're all the way off the screen. Because now they're trying to trans the kids. And
trying to trans the kids, as usual, making it into a verb and not about the fact that children have the right to exercise their autonomy, because they do.
There are many conservatives now who are saying, look, if you're a man and you want to put on a dress, that's fine, but just don't do it to children. Just don't make me pay for it. No.
Yeah, so my man is fully like, you're not even allowed to play dress up. Literally, we're not just rigidly enforcing the sex binary by preventing you from getting hormones and stuff, but we also think that it's wrong for there to even be such a thing as gender non-conforming cis people. Like, a man who wants to dress like a woman, like, that describes both, like, it describes trans women and, like, cross-dressers in their framework. Like, so anyone who just, like, the new thing where, like, men like to wear dresses sometimes, even homophobic men can wear dresses. Remember that one guy with the heels and the pencil skirts and the really muscly thighs? He's, like, homophobic. So you can be a homophobe and want to wear skirts. This is gonna hurt their own people. You know, you not allowed. You're not permitted. And truly, what about kilts? Are kilts masculine enough? Is that going to be okay? So let's see what this other one is. This one's also about 2 minutes, so we'll check this one out. Hey Jude.
Women that I called to ban transgenderism entirely.
Wait. Wait, did this come out before or after the CPAC thing? Is this one from after the CPAC thing? I can't remember which one came first. I think before. I saw this before CPAC was in the news. Okay, I thought that I did too. Okay, I thought so too. Okay, so yeah, let's check out this second video from his podcast show thing.
That I called to ban transgenderism entirely. I made the point that if you want women to have their own bathrooms, if you think women ought to be able to have their own locker rooms and not have to look at gigantic, gross men while little girls are getting changed, if you want...
Yeah, they're really preying on that disgust button. Like, gigantic, gross men just fundamentally ignores the biological changes that people go through. It also, like, demonizes, like, adult transitioners because it's harder to pass when you transition as an adult, but then they also won't let kids transition. Like, truly, everything about this is, like, there is no right way to be trans. We don't want you to be trans. And if you are going to be trans, we're going to find a way to make it impossible for you to exist, like, outside of your house. And even then, we're also going to probably try to make it illegal for you to get access to transition, so that you will forever, for the rest of your life, remain a hulking, disgusting, ugly man, quote unquote. Jesus Christ.
Any of those things, you have to ban transgenderism entirely. It's not enough to say, well, you have to wait until you're 12 or whatever people are saying now. It has to be the whole thing, because if men have the right to behave as women and identify as women for the purposes of public life, then women can't have their own spaces. And we as a society cannot have our own standards and norms, and we're not allowed to live according to reality. We have to live.
I mean, if you have to rigidly, constantly enforce a sex binary, and if you have to like disallow people from getting access to hormones because it does materially change your physical body, like the more like and like the more you're like, oh, we can't even teach children this, because if we teach children this, then they'll become trans. Like literally, you're just conceding that your worldview requires a ton of like work to maintain, just constantly. They consistently admit that the concept of like a rigid gender binary that doesn't allow for any cross-contamination of gender expression or behavior or any of that shit, it's just they're constantly revealing how thin and weak their position actually is. And they do really focus in on the trans women. Yeah, they literally want trans men in the women's bathrooms. I mean, I really don't think that they think about trans men at all, and that if you are a trans man, you're basically like in a lot of cases going to be better off just trying to go to the men's room. They're going to be policing gender nonconformity in women's rooms more than in men's rooms. Although it's not unheard of. I've even just read a story today of a situation where someone was being policed in a men's room on a college campus by a private security guard or something. So yeah, in that case, it seemed like it was someone trying to access a men's room, because the type of transphobia that they received was that they were told that they looked like little girls. So I'm guessing that it was like transgender men or non-binary people who are more comfortable in the men's room either way. And yeah, I don't know what's going to actually materially happen with trans men in the women's restroom. I think that most trans men are probably just going to go to the men's room because it'll just, you're not trying to risk your safety in order to like get a gotcha on a rules lawyering situation. You're not going to risk. Because what's going to happen if you as a transgender man go into a bathroom and you have a beard and some woman goes, because you have a beard, and then her husband comes in there and then he tries to rough you up and you say, oh, well, you didn't know this, but I actually have a pussy. Then like, what's going to happen to you? Like, what do you think is going to, like, what's the next step as a trans man who just revealed to a violent cis man that you have a pussy? There's like only a couple options. Most of them are not gonna be good. The odds are not in your favor, my dude. Like it's not realistic to expect that trans men that situation would ever even arise. They believe that the gender binary is natural while simultaneously enforcing a culture that instills the gender binary in basically everyone. Yeah, I mean, it's supernatural, which is why we have to constantly brainwash and police people into staying within these rigid categories that we supposedly found naturally, but actually it's like a deliberately enforced edict from God, basically. What are androgynous people supposed to do? Die. Just like all the rest of the trans people. Like, they just want you to die. It's not difficult, to figure out. They want you to be dead. Or, like, stay at home. Get sepsis, get a UTI, get a bladder infection. You know what I mean? And they did, yeah, back in the day, they wanted to prevent gay people from using the washroom, claiming that they would be predators by default simply for being attracted to people that use the same washroom as them. For sure. I remember being a young person who, like, heard things about, like, oh, I've heard people say that certain folks also said that lesbians shouldn't be, like, it wasn't something that I heard actively in my life, but I heard allusions to the idea that, like, oh, you know, like, we had a really masculine PE teacher at one point, like a female teacher, PE teacher, who just happened to be pretty masculine. And I remember there being some, like, I don't know if she should be in the, like, just comments from, like, parents sometimes. So that, I mean, that was happening when I was younger, like 15, 20 years ago or so, whatever, like closer to 15 probably realistically, but yeah. Okay.
According to the delusions of these troubled people.
Oh, sure.
And I
yeah,
think
of course.
we the people have a right to reality. And I think women have a right to their own spaces. And so that means you got to ban the thing entirely. And oh my goodness, what these people say.
Yeah, again, not even just saying like we should have a separate but equal category, but that, like, yeah, we got to ban it entirely. It's not allowed at all. Like, what does that realistically mean to these people? They really dodge the question of, you know, what is your answer to this question that you keep asking? You keep begging the question, what are we going to do about these transgenders? You keep saying we need to get rid of them. Like, how? What is the steps? What are the steps that you're going to take to erase transgenderism, to, like, ban transgenderism? What are you going to do?
They said that I was calling for the extermination of transgender people.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly, like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, what is the natural conclusion of ensuring that trans people can't access any kind of public services?
They said I was calling for a genocide against. I said, what? I must have missed that part of my show. When did I say that? I don't know how you could have a genocide of transgender people, because genocide refers to genes.
Oh yeah. I saw this conversation happening on Twitter. Genocide refers to genes. Like, okay, Michael Knowles. So let me propose a counteroffer. Allow me to propose a counteroffer. What if I want to eradicate Christianity? If I said I wanted to eradicate Christianity, I'm sure that he would go and type up the UN definition of genocide and say, well, you see here, I have it in my book here. It says that actually you're not allowed to try to erase Christianity because it's protected. It says right here, religion is one of the things that you can, that's a legitimate group to genocide people. You can't do that because that's like a protected shared trait. It's it absolutely has nothing to do with genes, you fucking idiot. Christ.
It refers to genetics.
No.
It refers to biology. And the whole point of transgenderism is that it has nothing to do with biology.
What the fuck? No, like, no, it actually might be hereditary. First of all. Second of all, it is some kind of, like, it is a biological, like, thing happening in your body where your body, like, the stress response to the hormones that your body is naturally creating, it's exactly like being allergic to your own sweat. Like, he's fully aware he's lying. Yeah, I mean, you just have to call it out. There are people out there who don't know how much he's just making shit up, and so you have to call it out. And, like, it's also worth it to say, though, that, like, this is, you know, just dishonest. That's the thing about fascists. It's that they're not going to be honest. And we have a tendency to want to cling to the truth, and they don't care about the truth. So, yeah, the longer that sentence about genes, the more stupid it's becoming. Oh, my God. Oh, what am I doing? The etymology for genocide is from the Greek genos, for race or kind. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess race you could say is genetic, but regardless, it's just very dumb. Oh my God. Ooh, we got to get through this.
That's what the transgender activists say. They say, forget about biological sex. My gender expression doesn't have to have anything to do with my biological sex. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it literally, like, it's just clothes, you weird dude. Like, it's just clothes.
Well, then there can't be a genocide. That refers to...
Oh, okay, well, yeah, but that's not, like, wanting to... Okay, so he was just reducing being transgender down to cross-dressing. My bad. Yeah, it's not. It's more like being allergic to the hormones that your body naturally produces. Yeah, everything is genetic, social, and cognitive. It's a combination, all of them, right?
Genetics. But furthermore, nobody's calling to exterminate anybody, because the other problem with that statement is that transgender people is not a real ontological category. It's not a...
I hate the word ontological. Like, I think that people misuse this word a lot. Or at least, like, I think that they're using it to try to sound smarter than they are. Every time I hear someone say the word ontological, I just think of fucking Riley Grace Rochong saying that if you do sexual activity near a child, even if they don't know there's sexual activity going on, even if they have no idea it's happening, you've done ontological harm to them. Like, it's the only thing that I can think of is just a fucking idiot. Damn you, Destiny and Vosh, for making ontological a thing people online say. Is it their I mean, I'll blame Destiny for it. I don't know if that's Vosh's fault.
a legitimate category of being.
Oh, wow. He just said that being trans is not a legitimate category of being. Hold on.
It's not a legitimate category of being.
Wow. Like, I think that he also... this is the kind of guy who I think also would say that being gay is not a category of being. If your defense of your genocidal rhetoric is that the group of people you're speaking about can't technically be genocided, then you're not really any better off, right? If you're trying to, like, say that the group of people that you're calling to eradicate is not even it's like you're just... It's the narcissist thing, like, or I don't know if it's actually a narcissist thing or if I just read that a few times, but it's like, I didn't do that. And even if I did, it would have been okay because this, you know, like, and they just keeps building that way. Like, well, first of all, I didn't even say that. But if I did say that, here's why I would have been correct to say it. Like, it's, I don't know exactly what that pattern is called, but I've read about it a little bit before. Thanks for the sub, Off Time. Oh my god, it can't be a genocide. They aren't even people. True. Oh my goodness. Oh, we gotta get through it.
There are people who think that they're the wrong sex, but they're mistaken. They're laboring under a delusion. And so
it's classic, oldest thing in the book too, to call it a delusion. Oh my god.
we need to correct that delusion.
Oh, we need to correct that delusion. Okay, it seems like medically the best way to alleviate the distress of that illusion is to give hormones, and it kind of seems like what you're saying is that we should try to make it impossible for trans people to exist in the way that they are, which is it means that you're trying to eradicate them. Like, if you if you steal children and force them to stop participating in their culture, that's genocide. Like, if you take people and you say, okay, we're going to take away the things that you like, if you make it impossible for someone to practice their religion, like, let's say it's not even illegal. You're not killing people who are Jewish. You're just putting a lot of impositions on the structural requirements for synagogues that don't exist for any other religious institution or other building, and making it so that synagogues can't realistically be open. And then, like, at the same time, there's also, like, roving street bands who will knock your fucking little hat off your head and make it, like, impossible for you to even walk down the street. It's like the government is not necessarily the one doing the violent thing, but they are creating the situation where it's impossible for you to express your religion. And then if they're not adequately policing the harassment and violence that you then face, like, the people who are doing violence to you on the street are performing the actions that the state wants them to, right? They literally can't view anyone but themselves as an actual human being. That's why they dehumanize us and say things like we are NPCs, because they don't view us as living human beings. They can't even comprehend that there are people who aren't like them. I think that might be the case. What did Off Time say? Off Time said that self-mutilation is a mental disorder. So I deleted them from the ability to ever comment on the channel again. They never developed theory of mind. Right, and they say that autistics don't have a theory of mind. Igor says genocide refers to the attempt to exterminate an entire specific group of people, whether on the basis of national, religious, or other affiliation. It refers to attempts to eliminate in whole or in part members of a group, like to reduce membership of the group. And yeah, the original definition is like race, religion, nationality, stuff like that. And then more recently, they've added a couple other things that kind of expanded it out to include like political differences and things like this. Reactionary sentiment is just solipsism politicized. True. So then he's spoken at a CPAC, and let's see what that was all about, because I actually I have heard a little bit less about this. So let's go.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgender.
Hold on. This volume is not right yet.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages. If transgenderism...
I mean, yeah, true. So, Christy, it is something that people say that autistics don't have theory of mind. But I don't, yeah, it's one of those stupid things. But yeah, no, yeah, if adults can do it, then kids can hypothesize. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was a transgender child. Thanks, Michael Knowles. Yeah, that happened to me, and I'm like 29 and a trans adult, so it's my birthday month. Drop $1 in the dono bucket if you want.
...is false, as it is. If men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody, too. And if it's false, then we should not indulge it, especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, letting people dress how they want and take hormones if they want, letting people exercise their personal individual autonomy over their own bodies is a threat to society and an imposition and a destruction of the rights of other people, apparently. Yeah, there's no harm being described. He's just saying, like, I have decided that you're forcing me to indulge a delusion, and that's an infringement on my rights. I've arbitrarily decided that despite all of the scientific evidence to the contrary, like, you can't make permanent and like sustainable physiological changes to your sex that fundamentally like reduce the difference between you and a cisgender person of the same gender down to like basically nothing. Okay. Take a breath. Breathe. Yeah, intersex people would not be real by this rule. That delusion is a threat to my delusion, exactly. Okay, it's short. Let's get through it.
If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
So the problem there is that they keep saying like transgenderism and the ideology, and we can't like allow this in public life. Like, and then the thing is that people correctly interpret that as thinking, oh, yeah, he's calling for trans people to be eradicated. So he says, for the good of society, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. And then people correctly interpret that as meaning like, that means you want trans people to no longer exist. You think trans people should not be in public. Like, if you want to erase transgenderism, like, there is no way to erase transgenderism without erasing trans people. So, but then he says, like, this headline is libelous and I demand a retraction. Like, explain, yeah, Caitlin Burns says, explain what would happen to trans people when you eradicate transgenderism. And like all the replies are basically saying that all trans people would be eradicated. Like what do you think is the natural consequence here? And like it's a very disingenuous obfuscation. It's clear what you're saying. We know what you're saying. And if you say like, oh, well, I'm just saying that the gender ideology is something that we need to protect children from ending up in, is ignoring the fact that we're just people. It's not like an ideology led me. It's not like I'm a political trans person. You know, it's not like I decided like, you know, being a female sucks and I don't want to be that because of misogyny or whatever. And so for political reasons, I'm going to try to escape misogyny by transitioning. Or like, it's not like I decided, I think that the distinctions that Christians have made between men and women are ideologically stupid. And so I have decided to physically change my body in order to make it incongruent with this political ideology that the Christians are trying to impose on me. That's not how any of this fucking works. It's not like any trans person gets to this point through like choosing to embrace like an ideology. It's because we have like distress in our bodies and distress within society about the way that gender is constantly imposed on us. But of course, like, I mean, honestly, I'm not even sure at this point. I'm truly not even sure that they care about trans people in particular, or if we're just the scapegoat for them to take fascist power through. Like, I genuinely don't even know if they actually want to like get rid of trans people in particular, or if this is just the petty excuse that they're using. IDK, my transitioning might actually be about 5% motivated by spite towards conservatives. So, yeah, like transgenderism, the idea that transgenderism must be eradicated from public life versus transgender people must be eradicated, it's a meaningless distinction to the historically literate. Nazis very specifically began excluding German Jews from public life years before the first extermination camp. Like during the first 6 years of Hitler's dictatorship from 1933 until the outbreak of war in 1939, Jews felt the effects of more than 400 decrees and regulations that restricted all aspects of their public and private lives. Like, yeah. Thus, hundreds of individuals in all levels of government throughout the country were involved in the persecution of Jews as they conceived, discussed, drafted, adopted, enforced, and supported anti-Jewish legislation. No corner of Germany was left untouched. You can't say, I want to eliminate this type of, like, you're literally saying, like, I want to eliminate this type of being, transgenderism, because I don't think it's a legitimate mode of being. Like, that's literally what he said, was being transgender is not a legitimate mode of being for a person. Therefore, I'm going to have to enforce violently, potentially, like, I mean, not even violently, potentially. It's not potential. The idea that you are going to criminalize someone using the bathroom, for example, you are weaponizing the violence of the state to enforce like a rigidly genocidal worldview. It's fascist. It's authoritarian. I've been saying this for 8 months now. 9 months? 9 months now, I think, that they are coming after trans people in the genocide way. I've substantiated this multiple times, but it's been going around again. Here's a thread from Alyssa. Trans people in the United States are now the victims of stage 8 of the 10 steps of genocide. And to be clear, we were already at stage 8 8 months ago. 9 months ago. Thanks for the sub, Peach Time. So yeah, like, I guess I'm glad that other people are finally getting around to here. Like, classification, symbolization, discrimination, dehumanization, organization, polarization, preparation, persecution, 10 stages of genocide by the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust. Like, she goes through, just like I did in my video about it 8 months ago, that's like, yeah, here's all of the different like examples of organization, polarization, dehumanization, all this shit, all the way up to the point where persecution, yeah, victims are identified because of their ethnicity or religion, and death lists are drawn up. People are sometimes segregated into ghettos, deported or starved, and property is often expropriated. Genocidal massacres begin. Ron DeSantis ordering Florida universities to submit data on trans people. Texas Attorney General seeking state data on transgender Texans. In that case, it was trying to create a list of like driver's license gender marker changes, basically. Yeah, reports of Texas AG's attempts to collect data on trans adults. It's a terrifying overstep into the lives and privacy of LGBT people. Like, they're just, Yeah, yeah. Have you considered that libs say it's just hyperbole, though? It's just hyperbole, though. Exactly, NBJ. Yeah, it's the same distinction as, quote, eliminating Christianity being different from, quote, eliminating Christians. You can say, we don't want to eliminate Jewish people. If you're in Germany back then, you might say, like, we don't want to eliminate Jewish people. We just think that Jews have a disproportionate influence on culture and society, and that if we don't massively restrict their ability to influence society, then Germany as we know it will collapse. We're like, it's exactly the same fucking thing. They've said, if it makes us look like fools on the national stage if we let trans people be trans, then that shows that we're a weak country and we're not, we're a joke to everybody else on the public stage. And they probably said the same shit. Yeah, they would have said Jewry, global Jewry. That makes me fucking think of the Golden One. It's literally what the Nazis said. They're like, if we let these Jews control our country, then, Germany will be weak and other people will take us over and everything. Jesus Christ. I hate that when mainstream news sites cover this, they will still say, some have called this genocidal, and then cite a couple of trans people on Twitter. There's still not prominent cis people in the media willing to actually use the G word themselves. I mean, frankly, I only just quite recently noticed a shift where trans people are openly calling it genocidal. I started calling it genocidal 8 or 9 months ago. And now you see folks like Aaron Reed using the word genocidal. It just took them a while to catch up to it. So now, these respectable seeming trans people who are already engaging in the politics, they are going to now be taking that rhetoric to the mainstream. It should have happened 9 fucking months ago, to be totally clear. But people are constantly telling me, like, oh no, Luxander, you're trying to fearmonger and you're trying to drum up like hysteria and you're misapplying this word and the cisgenders won't listen to us anymore if you keep saying it's genocidal, like people won't listen. So yeah, and keep in mind too, that it's not just that this dude is saying this stuff, but that there was an entire crowd of people who were cheering him on. He was saying, we need to ban transgenderism entirely. And a whole group of Republicans and conservatives were going like, yeah, woo, let's do it. Ah! They're like, ah! They're cheering. You can hear them. Ah! And that's like the world we live in now. That's where we are now with this, is that people will call for basically making being trans in public increasingly illegal. And people are like, yeah, let's do that. Yay. It's getting tough to deal with mental health for sure. Before, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we might have been able to write our anxiety off. But now it's very substantiated that people actually do want us dead. And now every day I wake up and it feels like it gets faster. It is accelerating. We're sticking, right this second, we're on this one particular subject, but to be totally clear, things have rapidly gotten much worse in a number of different ways, not even directly affecting trans people. Anti-gay legislation is starting to be attempted to push through, and reducing like trying to take away the idea of the Democratic Party at all in Florida. Like, oh my God. Every day I wake up, I'm becoming more monstrous and angry. This is like why I'm trying to seek positivity in my life, y'all. And I'll wrap up the segment here soon because I'm like running out of things to say. I'm being alarmist because you should be alarmed. If you're not alarmed, then you have a death wish, IMO. Just like if you're going out without a mask right now, you have a death wish, IMO. And you need to start acting like the situation is dangerous, because it is. So as much as it's not like fun for any of us, we will probably have to consider moving to safer states or moving to safer countries and like focus on establishing networks of support so that we can help people change the laws in the places where they live, but also give them the option to get the hell out if necessary. A healthy dose of alarmism is self-preservation, not gonna lie. I'm not negative, okay? To be clear, I'm not a negative person. I'm a realist. It's not my fault that the world is terrible. It is. It's terrible. And there are some people out there, listen, I understand Anjali in the YouTube chat saying I'm never gonna move from my home in Texas. Some people are really committed to staying in the place where they live, and people own houses and stuff. And it's not gonna be easy. I'm not saying to give up the fight in the States. I'm just saying that there is a realistic probability, not a realistic possibility, y'all, a realistic probability that things will get dramatically worse before they get better, and that you need to have plans. Like, you need to have capital P plans for your will, for your children's well-being. Like, you need to have capital P plans for potentially, like imagine the worst thing that could happen and then plan for that. You can hope that that doesn't happen. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Assume that there's a possibility that someone is going to break down your door and like drag you kicking and screaming out of your house, V for Vendetta style. Because it could be real any day now. Honestly, like, I would not be surprised. It's not being alarmist. The alarm is ringing because you're in danger. Yeah, good, like, shout out to all my people out there with, like, PTSD and anxiety, because it's really hard to manage your stuff and like deal with it knowing that the threat is real. Can confirm as someone with CPTSD. Right. I wake up every day, and within the first 20 minutes of waking up, I'm like, yeah, the world is terrible. People are trying to kill me, either on purpose or through their negligence. Like, I'm going to be upset about COVID for the rest of my life. It's seeming like that's going to be the direction this goes. Unless enough of the stupid people who are careless about it die, and then, like, only the people left are the people who are being careful about it, I guess. Maybe then I'll get to live in a world where it's safe, but probably not ever. I literally check the news every day in case one day I wake up and Vancouver starts talking about banning trans people. Even here, I'm afraid that it might happen at some point. So that's why I'm getting strunk. Like, shifting, I guess, a little bit onto like a positivity moment for a minute here, because, like, it is possible for you to make changes in your life that are going to increase your chance of survival, like being strong and fast. That's going to help you. So if you're physically able to exercise, you should be doing that in some capacity. Do wall push-ups if you need to in order to work your way up to real push-ups. But, like, you should be eating. You should limit your alcohol intake, TBH, because that is hurting your body in a number of ways. Increase your water intake. Learn skills. Here's another thing that I'm going to try to do is I think that I'm actually ready to start learning some of these new skills that I've been wanting. And some of them are for, like, fun and my own enjoyment, right? Some of them are for fun and my own enjoyment. Like, the revolution doesn't need me to learn how to play piano. But I am playing piano because I want to, you know? So that's something that I'm just doing for myself. I am also going to be getting into, like, art probably more. And that's for me. That's for myself. But I'm also going to be working out, which both is because I want to do it. It'll be healthier. There are strong correlations between strength and, like, lifetime, like, longevity. And I'm also going to look fucking sexy. If I have big shoulders and biceps, like, that's going to be awesome. And I'm going to be more physically capable. It's going to contribute to my mental health, not only because exercise directly contributes to your mental health, but also being, increasing your mastery is good for your, like, longevity of your confidence and health, you know? So the more capable you are at something, the better it is for you overall. Getting outside, hiking, I'm learning some survivalist skills probably increasingly. I'm starting off on easy mode, to be clear, because I'm going camping and I'm going to start out on easy mode in a, like, place that's safe with a lot of people in it. And, yeah, Swole Lux Arc is happening. What booster shot are you on? 4. Like, I had the 2 initial ones, and then I had a booster, and then I had the covalent booster. So I've had 4 shots total. And I'm going to get another one in, like, May. The Swole Lux arc is happening. Yeah, so I still am unsure about the gun thing. Excuse me. I know that a lot of other leftists are like, you need a gun. But I'm like, realistically, what situation am I going to have a gun, like, useful to me? I'm generally going to want it to not be easily accessible, probably, just because it's safer to keep your gun in, like, a gun safe or to keep your ammo locked up. So it's like, if you don't have a gun that's just sitting there loaded, ready to use all the time, it's not like it's going to be last-minute home defense. If I'm trying to protect my home, I might as well just have a baseball bat. You know what I'm trying to say? And I'm not going anywhere where I would need a firearm. I mean, I guess some people have suggested that I should get a gun if I'm going to be doing any serious camping. I think, like, because of wild animals and shit like that. I guess maybe. But having a gun, I don't think statistically plays out that it actually makes a big difference to your... Like, I don't really think that it makes a difference to your longevity in a situation where if someone is threatening you with a gun, I think that having another gun, statistically, the main thing that does is increase the likelihood of a bystander being shot. You need it for the animals. That's funny. Like, Mersh said you need it for the animals in camping, but Icarus says a bear will not care about your gun. So, listen, y'all. I live in, like, northeast-ish Kansas. Like, we don't have bears here. Like, I'm from Kansas City, okay? Like you should, like, if you imagine, like, where does Lux live? Like, Lux lives in Kansas City. There's no fucking bears here. Yeah, most gun owners never use them for self-defense. My eyes are very blue. I mean, my eyes are like... What color? Hello. They're like blue and green and brown. Yeah, there's no bears here. I think that sometimes there might be cougars here, but not really with the... Yeah, gonna renew my passport this week. I still need to get a passport. I just am a really weird about spending money. So I have the money to start the process right now. But I'm like, oh, I need to make sure I have enough money saved just in case something weird happens this month. So hopefully at the end of March, since it's my birthday month, and I can say things like, hey y'all, it's my birthday month. If you've never contributed to the channel before, this is my full-time job. I am like a political commentator and gender philosopher. So if you want to help me get something for my birthday, consider giving me a dono. You should also hit like on the stream. That's a good birthday present. And then additionally, if you didn't know, I also have some Amazon wish lists, which you can check out if you like. There's some links to the Amazon wish lists. Happy birthday to Lux. So hopefully I will have enough money soon that I'll be able to feel comfortable finally getting my goddamn passport, because I've been meaning to get one for years now. Yeah, Cougars. Yeah. I thought about making the joke. I see gun ownership as being more useful for community self-defense. When they start actively coming for us, it's imperative. I don't really have a community around me, though, which is something that I view as a problem. So I've been thinking about joining the DSA potentially. Downtime, no. I have so little time for the... Okay, yeah, actually, Downtime, God bless you. Thank you for the sub. It's much more likely that COVID is causing heart issues than that the fucking vaccine, which is a dumbed down version of it, is causing issues. There's a demonstrable link between cardiovascular damage and repeated COVID infection. Get the fuck out of my channel with your anti-vax bullshit. I hate you people. To be clear. I'd like to learn hand-to-hand self-defense too. I just think that that's going to end up costing a lot of money, and I'm not sure. Like, I genuinely don't know if I can afford martial arts classes. But that is, what do you all recommend? Is Krav Maga the way to go? Like, is Krav Maga the thing to do? Or what kind of self-defense are people into lately? My resting heart rate has been elevated ever since I got the virus 5 months ago. I fear it's a sign of permanent damage. That's a possibility. Lava Monster, I would say if you have a resting heart rate that's been elevated, also keep on the lookout for, do you ever feel like when you stand up from a seating position, like you feel a little faint, like in a way that you didn't used to? Because you might have developed the condition that I've had since I was a child. Krav Maga, no. Judo, Jiu-Jitsu. Void Spaghetti Girl, you're a girl after my own heart. Self-defense hand-to-hand is easy. The answer is fight dirty. The answer is I'll take your fucking eyeball. Like, I'm sorry. I'll fucking kick your knee out sideways. I'm small. You gotta end it quickly. The answer is throat punch. No Krav Maga. Mai Tai? Just start bobbing and weaving. Do you usually get this many people that you have to ban? No, it's because of the title of the stream. Like, first of all, usually my streams are not this many people. Like, thank you all for hanging out. There's almost 100 people here. This is a large stream for me, so thank you. But like, yeah, it's because of the stream title. When I made a stream recently about COVID, there were a lot of people coming in. When I make stream titles that have Trump in them, we always get more people who I need to ban, you know? I'm considering jujitsu. Keep in mind that whatever recommendations you guys have for martial arts training, I have to find a place that's like within reasonable driving distance and isn't crazy expensive in order to like get the learning done, you know? Yeah, when you say title of stream, the Arsler unredacted, precisely. Just study a chart of vulnerable areas because you don't want to hit an area that is fatal, but that does... You want to hit an area that is not fatal, but which does incapacitate temporarily. What is it? From the Sherlock, discombobulate? Like, discombobulate. That was a... What was that? Was that a Lindsay Ellis where she really went in on that joke? I can't remember. Discombobulate. We had a couple of other actual serious Shia LaBeouf. We did have a couple of actual serious things news-wise. Because there was also the Florida thing. I had multiple people send me a link to the Florida thing. Whoa! Spooky Heather Sylvia with the $70 dono. Holy shit, thank you so much. They said, thanks, I really needed this today. I am glad that you're enjoying hanging out here. Holy shit. Thank you so much. That's the dono goal. That's the dono goal for the day. Oh man, I really appreciate that. Happy birthday to me. I realized in the middle of singing that I was like, I'm not allowed to sing that one. No. Thank you. Is it this? Yeah. I don't want to watch the whole scene though, because I'll get zucked. But discombobulate. You understood what I was saying. Let me get this, and then this. Yeah, so this Florida bit. Where am I going to go? I don't need this open anymore. I guess Discord. There was a link dropped in the Discord. I think Amy sent me a link about this as well. Okay, yeah, this will be the next and serious thing that we talk about. We'll talk about it in a minute. There's some... Oh, Demonia, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Now that the super serious stuff has paused for a minute and I have my most regular unscheduled payment for dicks. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Enjoy your dicks, my chatters. NBC reported that natural immunity is as effective as the COVID shot. Well, the thing is easily, like, you develop antibodies as a result of being exposed to the COVID shot and being exposed to actual COVID. The difference is that when you get the COVID shot, you don't have live virus that starts to use your body to reproduce. And then your immune system has to kick in and try to fight it out. Like, once you get a viral infection, like, once you get COVID, it lives in your body permanently. Like, it lives in your body forever. And that's why you get long-term complications from COVID. Like, y'all need to understand, okay, people out there who have a difficult time understanding why COVID is such a big deal. Like, think of something like herpes. Herpes is a relatively minor illness at this point. Like, you get the cold sores, it can give you like cold symptoms and make you feel kind of shitty. But it mostly doesn't hurt people nowadays. However, there was a time in the past where there were, like, when herpes first became a thing, like, it first evolved and it started affecting people. And then, like, some of those people had the ability to let that virus live in their body permanently in a way that didn't ultimately affect them in an incredibly negative way. However, other people died. So nowadays, the only people who are alive are people whose bodies are able to cohabitate with herpes in it. Yes, people do take vaccines for viruses and diseases they've already acquired easily. This is the last time I'm going to respond to you. If you keep up with this shit, I am going to just delete you from the channel. You get a flu shot every year because the flu rapidly evolves. Certain other viruses like chickenpox don't rapidly evolve, but the flu does, and you get a flu shot every year. And I want you to know how fucking stupid you are, because I can't believe you said people don't take vaccines for diseases that they've already acquired. Like, you're a moron. Goodbye. Oh my God, I was so angry at people in YouTube chat that I didn't even see all these donos. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. Thank you to Lava Monster with the tier 1 sub. Dono goal met, but we must go even further beyond. Even further beyond. Oh my gosh. And then Salander with the $15 dono. Thank you. Get the passports, folks. Sanctuaries outside the US for trans peeps will be a reality soon. I certainly hope so. I can't imagine that it's gonna, like, it's like, it seems like it needs to happen, like, that more and more countries are going to accept asylum. But when I was looking into how it would work to seek asylum in Canada, they were basically saying, because we have, like, because we have other states in the United States where it is safe to be trans, you can't come here. Like, so if I live in Kansas and they start restricting my rights here in Kansas, which they may well do, they already are in the process of doing that, then I could go to Canada, because Canada is a sanctuary state. Like, they passed a law. So generally, the way that it works when you're applying... Oh, so I guess they were trying to make some changes. Seriously, thank you guys for the donos. I really appreciate that. But in Canada, we're working to create a sanctuary law for Americans fleeing to Canada. It's still being fought for, though. So are they trying to change the asylum process then? Because that's my understanding, is as long as there are safe places within your country, they want you to try to go to those places first. Yeah, it's the same logic our right-wingers use here. You can't come to the United States because you could have gone somewhere in Turkey or whatever instead. I was wondering why my 50-year-old unvaccinated aunt was fine when she got COVID more than once. Well, and also, yeah, so some people, like, can get COVID and, like, it's not that big of a deal. But it's like with polio. With polio also, polio was overwhelmingly a fairly minor, like, gastrointestinal illness. But, like, 1% of people who got polio ended up fucking permanently paralyzed and, like, dying. So it was a big enough deal for 1% of the people having those negative effects to then vaccinate everybody against polio for the rest of forever, to the extent that we don't even know what polio is like anymore. I got a mild case of polio even with the vaccine. Well, yeah, but the purpose of the vaccine is not to give you like a ward of protection against the virus touching you. It's to give your immune system like something to work with, to recognize it when it comes up, so that if you contract it, you can fight it again. You can like fight it off, right? Yeah, somehow everyone managed to shut the fuck up when polio vaccines were made mandatory. What are you advocating for when it comes to COVID? What do you mean? Like, what am I advocating for when it comes to COVID? Like, what do I think we should be doing about it? Is there a trick to changing your name on the website? It says I should be able to, but it also won't let me. I mean, do a refresh to see if that allows you to change it. And if it doesn't, then I can do it. But it should let you with a sub. It seems completely unrealistic to eradicate the disease globally. I mean, it would have been easier to do that 3 years ago, but like, I think that the only thing to do is to try to eradicate. Like, we should act like that's our goal, because I think anything short of acting like our goal is to eradicate it is accepting a certain amount of like permanent eugenics against like anyone who gets cancer forever is going to like have an increased risk of dying because of other people not giving a shit about their actions. Like, we should be making a global initiative to reduce and eliminate COVID. You should be wearing an N95 mask everywhere you go. Like, you should ask people to rapid test before you hang out. Like, you should be rapid testing on both ends. Like, you should treat seeing a person without a mask the same way that you would treat having a one-night stand with a stranger. Like, literally, wear protection, and you should ask them to test. Like, if you're going to have sex with a stranger without a condom, you might want to know whether they've recently had an STD test. And if there were like a rapid test that you could take on the spot, I think that would probably also happen. So yeah, like, you should do rapid tests before you see anyone without a mask. And you should be wearing a mask all the time. Don't go to bars. If you're going to go out to eat, only eat in places where you can eat outside, which means, yeah, don't go to fucking restaurants in the wintertime at all. I can't imagine having unprotected anonymous sex. Wearing protection seems so easy. Yeah, but we're out here raw dogging the air with a fucking globally murderous disease. Like, y'all, when you ask me, like, what even is your goal with COVID? It's like, my goal is for it not to be the number 3 cause of death in the United States. It is the 3rd highest cause of death in this country right now. Compared to COVID, it's easy to reduce CO2 emissions to limit climate change, and already that seems completely undoable. Only because we have a political machination that is extremely resistant to change. Like, yeah, it's entirely possible that saving the climate and eliminating COVID are both going to be things that require there to be no United States government anymore. Like, there's a possibility that the United States government and its existence is going to completely get in the way of these goals. Yeah, 2020 was 3 years ago. Do you feel like this has been interminable now? It's been interminable. There's not financial incentive to spread COVID the way CO2 has a financial incentive. Well, I mean, they kind of do, though. Like, in the sense that there would be an economic slowdown if people, like, actually stayed home when they were sick and things like this. Igor says, I combine Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with Krav Maga. It's always been more than effective. In my opinion, however, just one skill is not enough to cover a real street fight. Well, sure. Like, you can learn things like how to block in certain ways. I did get mixed martial arts training when I was younger, so I have the basic concept of, like, if someone has grabbed a hold of your wrist, like, you can, like, obviously, like, this is the breaking point that you want to pull against. So, like, you know, I know the basics. And then it's just about, like, ending the fight quickly, TBH. TBH, our flu mortality rates are also way too high in the US. People really need to get their flu shots, wear masks during flu season, wash their hands more, etc. It could save tens of thousands of lives. We do kind of already accept a lot of preventable death in this country. Just make sure you have at least 20% avoidance on your gear and you're fine. Pro tip, ball kicking is ineffective. People will be able to keep going. Yeah, don't kick people in the balls. You are more likely to just make them angry and hurt you more. Like, don't kick people in the balls in self-defense. Like, that's assuming that you hit the balls. I remember when we hit January 2021 and there were 3,000 deaths per day, and it seemed like no one gave a shit in the country that practically fetishized the 3,000 deaths of 9/11. It's truly insane. If only you could get a flu shot for free in the USA. Yeah, I don't think it's very expensive, but, you know, for some people, $20 is like, some people don't have $20. Like, I think I asked one of my pharmacies how that worked, and that, yeah, because some places offer like a sliding scale. Yeah, if you don't have insurance, usually you can get a flu shot for free if you have insurance because they just cover it. But if you don't have insurance, because it costs fucking $300 a month, then you have to pay $20 for a flu shot. Yep. I was concerned when we first started seeing that the COVID help is going to expire in May, and they voted not to continue the COVID assistance. I was concerned that meant that COVID vaccines were no longer going to be free. But from what I understand, the COVID boosters are going to continue to be free. Yeah, exactly, Sarkam. Whoa. Yeah, I can't really see your whole name. It's blurring together for me a little bit. I've done a little bit of martial arts stuff, but mostly what I remember is stuff my dad told me when I was a kid, like how to break a wrist grab, stomp on feet if you're being held close to them, etc. I was quite young when I last got the stuff, last got the martial arts training. Practice is more important than having multiple skills for self-defense. IMO, that muscle memory really helps when things go down. Right, like if I were to do self-defense, I honestly don't even know if I care about going with like, oh, I want to learn Krav Maga versus Jiu-Jitsu versus something else. I think the thing that is the most important is going to a martial arts training where they pull your hair and make you actually defend yourself in the class. Because the last thing I want is to learn a skill like, yeah, in a controlled environment, and like, yeah, and like ripping my hand away and like, yeah. And then like someone is out there in the world and they've like got a hold of your hair and they're like dragging you across the street and you're like, oh no, my adrenaline has kicked in and I've forgotten how to defend myself. That's not what you want. I heard they're going to cost $90 to $150 if you don't have insurance, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I thought that it wasn't going to be an insurance thing, but you know, maybe. Knowing when to flee is probably the biggest factor. So many people don't realize that's 80% of what makes a difference. Too many people don't realize that fighting back is counterproductive in most cases. At least with violence and not words. Yeah, I don't know. I've never looked up statistics. De-escalation training is another 15%. I mean, yeah, that's fair enough. Parkour is the best martial art. Parkour is not a martial art. I don't think so. I don't think that's what that word means. The website doesn't let me click into the field with the name to type it in. I'm not sure why that would be. Whoop. What are you trying to change it to? I'll just do it. Parkour is relax and agility. If you live in Colorado, there's a low-income tax credit program. I applied with an upfront discount. I was paying $30 a month, and it did help cover HRT. Wait for medical? I guess parkour could be a martial art. Somebody trying to start a fight with you and you just scale a wall. True. Yum. Water's good. Reflex and agility. Okay, no, that's cool. It was not a mermaid. Oh, okay. Okay, chat should refresh for you. Flexibility training is underrated too, IMO. Yeah, I'm doing, like, yoga stuff still as well. That's important. Yeah, Icarus is parkour. Talking about parkour, like that running around thing. Currently, I pay $100 for a plan that normally costs $300. Yeah, I just don't live in Colorado. Like, when I went, I actually tried to apply for car insurance. I tried to apply for health insurance this year, because recently my partner and I separated, and like we're still married, but our money is all separate from each other. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm like covering all my own bills and everything, like I don't make that much money. So I applied for health insurance with saying like, I live in a household that's this big, I have this much income, it's not very much, and it was still gonna be like $200 or $300 a month. And someone was like, yeah, you should call and like have them talk about a discount. And I'm like, why the fuck are they making me do any extra steps on this? I'm like, I just will not have healthcare. I don't fucking care. Not have health insurance. Obviously, I still get healthcare when I need it. Oh, just a shout out for chatters if they happen to live there. Oh, okay, so if you live in Colorado, they have options. My flexibility is such shit. How can my nudes be good without getting my ankles behind my head? I have never had that goal. But also I think that's like a really uncomfortable sex position. Like, I just personally am not a huge fan of the like that thing where like they try to push your knees way up, you know? Like, it's just not. Oh gosh, the cramps. The cramps! I've definitely not still been watching Futurama. Makes it reach deeper. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know that. Maybe I'll enjoy that kind of thing more after I have my IUD taken out. Because at the present, like, having my cervix rammed is not really the thing that I want. $200 or $300 per month is not bad for insurance. I mean, it's bad for insurance if you only make, like, $1,500 a month. Like, I only make $1,500 a month, and I'm paying, like, fucking fully 20% of that money to insurance that then is also gonna give me a $9,000 deductible. Like, I can't afford insurance. Yeah, $0 a month here in Canada. For someone who's just an American living in Canada, it would be more. Like, it does cost money. But, it is certainly less expensive. I've never been able to do anything like that. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to reach my ankles behind my head right now. Anyway, oh my god. I really seriously need to have this IUD removed, or I'm gonna fucking lose it, because the cramps are happening right now. We'll trade US citizenship for Canadian citizenship, yeah. Oh, man. Not gonna lie now, I want to try that stretch. Stretch out your hips, okay? You gotta do like a child's pose. Stuff like that. Oh, man. It's like sometimes everything's fine, and then all of a sudden there's like a really sharp pain, and you just kind of have to be like, okay, well, are you gonna stop soon? Oh boy. Yeah, the hips don't lie, absolutely. It's time to be Shakira. I don't even know if I want to talk about anything else serious today. I have something pulled up and I don't know if I want to talk about it. Florida continues to be the worst place in the country. It continues to prove over and over again that, I mean, there's plenty of good people who live in Florida, but the government of Florida is a terrible place. And they keep introducing more and more anti-trans legislation. They keep introducing more and more anti-democratic legislation. They're coming after the books in the schools. You know, it's pretty nasty. And their most recent egregious proposition was that a bill has been introduced which allows for the legal taking of trans children away from families. Actually, I think that this might be fairly far-reaching. So a court, okay, so unjustifiable conduct, which could result in having a child taken away, is subjecting or attempting to subject a child to the provision of sex reassignment prescriptions or procedures. A court may not treat a parent's removal of a child from another parent or from another state as unjustifiable conduct or child abuse if the removal was for the purpose of protecting the child from one or more of the prescriptions or procedures. Or if they believe that the child was at risk of being subjected to the provision of such prescriptions. The petitioners may file a verified application for the issuance of a warrant to take physical custody of the child if the child is likely to imminently suffer serious physical harm or removal from this state. Okay, yeah, like, basically, this is saying that if a child may be receiving gender-affirming care, then the state has the right to take the child and just take them away, which is basically, oh wait, let's random people. So this is saying like someone could petition to say like this person is like, yeah, the petitioner, the filing of a petition seeking enforcement of a child custody determination, like a custody loophole for spiteful parents. Right. So this is like if, you know, back in the day when I was a transgender teenager and my dad had recently gotten custody of me from my mom, and my mom tried to use the fact that I was trans to get the court to put me back in her house. Like, that's a thing that happened in my life. Did you know that? The bill goes further, violating interstate comity by authorizing the courts to vacate child custody determinations of other courts only if the child is trans. So a court of this state has jurisdiction to vacate, stay, or modify a child custody determination of a court of another state to protect the child from the risk of being subjected to the provision of sex reassignment. Bill goes even further to ban all public funding for gender-affirming care, including for adults. This means state and local employees and their families would be barred from coverage for gender-affirming care. So if you're trans and you work at the DMV, you no longer can have your care protected or like covered by the insurance. Oh, the website is bad today? Oh, weird. So I actually had seen some intimations that this was like potentially going to affect transgender parents of cisgender kids. And I don't know that I've seen anything in here that explicitly refers to that, or if they're just basically assuming that because they might assume that a trans person might be going to trans their child, that's why this applies some kind of risk to trans parents with cisgender kids. That like someone could petition and say, oh, I've decided that there is a risk that this transgender parent might trans their child. Therefore, you should take custody of that child to make sure that they're not trying to force them into the ideology. Yeah, y'all, Luxander.net. If you're in the YouTube chat and you didn't know, I have a website with our own custom chat. I do not stream on Twitch. This is not Twitch chat. I know people think that. This is not Twitch chat. This is my website. And there's a Discord. Yeah, so this crosses the state lines in the sense that if another state has a custody order that like the mom has custody and the dad doesn't, then if you like bring the kid to Florida and the kid happens to be trans and on puberty blockers, then the courts can say, actually, we're taking this kid and like giving it to the dad or whatever. Yes. What is that emoji called? Oh, that's Poggies. Poggies is so cute. Oh my God, that's adorable. After a while, it's just like, I run out of things to say with how horrible all this shit is. Talking about a violation of interstate commerce laws, right? It's awful and will be weaponized. They do this thing where they weaponize the populace because people really have this urge to be cops. I watched a video recently of a man running away from some police officers and then this random bystander. So like, first of all, the man who was running away from the police was black. And then a bystander decided to like saw that the man was running and saw that the police were pursuing and decided to try to stop the man. And initially he like grabbed his shirt and the guy like tripped a little bit, but then he recovered and started running again. And then the guy continued to try to interfere and like pushed the guy. And so the black man who was running away from the police, like as he's pushed by this random fucking white guy, like smashes his head into a street light post, like a stoplight post. Like people truly want to be cops. Like people really get something out of enforcing society's rules and laws on you. Yeah, and the bounty hunting abortion law in Texas, they're really trying to recruit random people to help enforce the state's, like what the state has decided that morality is supposed to be for the rest of us. I think it's possible, not a mermaid, because the custody ruling, if the custody ruling is from New York, but the kid lives in Florida, then Florida is basically saying, nope, we're just going to take the kid away. And you can say, oh, it's illegal for them to do that, but then there's the Mann Act. Oh, this is finally it. This is finally it. I've had this tab open on my computer since the first time we talked about this. The Mann Act. There was this law passed in okay, can you get off my screen, please? Hold on. They passed this law in 1910 called the Mann Act. And the purpose of this law is basically to, like, prevent sex trafficking was the ostensible, like, thing. Any woman or girl for the purpose of prostitution, of debauchery, or for, it criminalizes transporting any woman or girl for the purpose of prostitution or debauchery or for any other immoral purpose. So it invokes the Commerce Clause, which felonizes the use of interstate or foreign commerce to transport women for immoral purposes. The act was originally aimed at prostitution, immorality, and human trafficking. Many critics note that the act ended up criminalizing many kinds of consensual sexual activity and had racist undertones. The phrase, quote, immoral purpose was broadly used to prosecute unlawful premarital, extramarital, and interracial relationships. And so the reason why this came up was because I think that this law has also been applied to situations where, like, a child is being trafficked across state lines for, like, to avoid child abuse prosecution, or perhaps that the Mann law is relevant here because, you know, you could technically apply this law and say that if you live in Florida and you are trying to escape from persecution in Florida, like let's say you have a transgender child there and you decide that the best thing for your family is to move to a state where there is affirming medical care and you're going to be safe. Now, Florida could hypothetically trigger the Mann Act if you move across state lines and say, well, what you're doing is trafficking a child for the purposes of a sexually immoral purpose. Like, because they've repeatedly instilled this idea that transing someone is a sexual act or is a grooming act, then they can say, like, you're trafficking a child for the purposes of, like, sexually grooming them, essentially. And, like, you're specifically trying to avoid the sexual morality laws in Florida. So this is getting to be, like, they're going to escalate this to a point where they're trying to criminalize leaving the states where you don't have rights. You know, they always say, oh, you know, if you don't like it here, then just move away. If you don't like it here, then just move away. Well, now they're going to come after you anyway. They're saying, like, well, the fact that you're running away means that now we're going to trigger some other mechanism of the law that's going to violently force you to be exactly the way that we want you to be. Other states are sovereign and could argue that they don't recognize the, quote, morality in Florida or their laws. I mean, the issue with this is that a lot of these positions, like a lot of these judge positions where this is going to matter, like, they've been stacked with conservatives, and then the Supreme Court has been stacked with conservatives. So all it takes is for this to reach the Supreme Court and for the conservative stacked Supreme Court to say, yeah, actually, we've decided that allowing a child to take puberty blockers is a sexual crime. And so if you try to leave Florida, where, I mean, it's going to be like their way of nullifying all the laws in the places where it is acceptable. But, like, additionally, if you try to leave Florida, or perhaps if you try to leave the country, maybe they'll criminalize you trying to leave the country even, because you're doing a sexual act with a child. And if you try to leave the country, then you're trafficking a child across international borders for the purposes of a sexual crime. Like, that's effectively the direction that this is headed right now. I feel like I want a lawyer's input on this. I honestly don't. I mean, yeah, like, lawyers understand the law a little bit better, but this law has already been used. Like, this website from Cornell is saying, like, the Mann Act has already been used in ways that are restricting behavior that might be consensual. And, like, anyone else buffering? Yeah, for some reason it's saying that there's no connection. Okay, now it's back. So that was on YouTube's end. Sorry. Yeah, there's probably maybe some saving grace that a lawyer would know about it. Someone called Derek. Is his name Derek? Derek from Legal? Someone call up Derek and get him to talk about this. Jeez. Hey, Demon. Welcome to the website. It took me forever to decide on a username. Yeah, no worries. Oh, is it Devin? I thought it was Derek. Oh, Xantasy, welcome over. I hope that you enjoy the custom emojis over here. Drink a little bit more water. There was a good news this week, though. And that good news this week was about a law in Arkansas. And maybe we can watch some of this guy talking about how the law was bad. As a parent who is trans, these laws scare the shit out of me. I'm fortunate to be in Washington for now, but I'm scared even here now. Whoa, clicked by accident. My heart really hurts for those stuck in a bad state. Yeah, even in Washington, there's still a lot of rural areas. Whoa, just gonna throw shit on the floor. Oof. All my hair ties are flying onto the floor. Seems out of Legal Eagle's wheelhouse, TBH. I would have asked opening arguments, but nope, that podcast is dead to me. That's not one I've heard of before. The website is struggling today. Yeah, and let's not forget that Club Q happened in Colorado, which is ostensibly a blue state. It just seems like it's not safe anywhere. I was complaining on Twitter earlier today. I was like, is there anywhere on this planet, like, is there any country that is both safe for trans people to be in and takes COVID seriously? And someone was like, the United States. And I'm like, haha, you're funny. Dumbass. Oh, gosh. Colorado is blue because of Denver. The rest of the state is red. I mean, I guess. Are you just saying that the sprawl of Denver is so big that it accounts for a decent number? Like, because, I mean, typically, you know, Kansas has a couple of blue cities. We've got, like, Topeka and Kansas City. Those are, like, the big ones. But that doesn't turn the state blue. Big city versus rural. Denver is a big city relatively. I guess that's fair. And the majority of the part of Kansas City that is like the big city is on the Missouri side. So, boy, howdy. I'm sleepy. Canada will assist you in unaliving, but not with COVID. True. It's depressing. In red states, we still need to remember the 40% of people who need our help. And in blue states, we have to be wary of the 40% who can do harm. You are allowed to say slurs in here for the most part. It's, it will censor you on the screen here. Like, if you can see it in the chat on your computer, but then on the screen it'll censor. For the most part. I guess Icarus got around it there. Colorado has always been pretty libertarian / purple, although since weed was legal, it's definitely gotten bluer. Can I tell you an infuriating story about COVID in Canada? I mean, sure. I don't necessarily need to know, but I'll learn. Yeah, Japan is not LGBT friendly. No. No, Japan. No. Good grief. Okay, what am I in the middle of doing? Yeah, I guess I don't have a lot else that I had prepped for today. Those were kind of like the two main stories. I'm so fucking glad I finally got to talk about the Mann Act. I've literally had that tab open on my computer for weeks. But anime always has gender fucky-wucky. No, it's not a fucking queer-friendly place. Oddly, though, testosterone is not a restricted substance. It shouldn't be a restricted substance. It's odd for it to be a restricted substance. It's stupid that it is. I think Spain would be a cool place to live. I think Spain is like the object far in my distant future, like maybe 10 years from now. Spain. My old friend's Nana got sick with COVID and was in the hospital, right? On the ventilator and everything. Only one person allowed to visit at a time and so on. This bitch had the nerve to come in and ask if his family could say their goodbyes because other people are in need of the ventilator. That's the healthcare we have here. They'd rather kill you or let you die, but at least it's free. Ooh. I mean, yeah, that's the thing about, you know, even if they provide free healthcare, like it's no cost to the consumer, it's still like costs money because we have money in society. So so long as we still have money, that means that normally they might sell you a miracle cure that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars because you're going to pay it. But even a relatively simple but expensive treatment, especially if it's a long-term treatment, is not a desirable outcome to a government that provides socialized healthcare in a system where there's money. Like, their incentive is to spend as little money as possible to show how great the healthcare system is. Like, oh, it's not even taking up that much of our budget. Look at that. It's very stupid. In most of South America, you can just get tea over the counter, even gel. God, I wish. My partner was crying this weekend about California banning halogen bulbs because lizards, like, because are halogen bulbs like the ones that provide heat for lizards? Holy shit. Morgan says, I watched someone die of respiratory failure from COVID the other day at work. It was really sad. They went from normal to ventilation to death in 4 days. It's still so scary. Wear a mask. Wear a mask, y'all. Literally, if you go out and you're not wearing a mask, you have a death wish. Like, you going out, like, if you wouldn't step into the street full of traffic, then you should not be going out and, like, you should view wearing a mask as the same as, like, staying on the sidewalk. Going outside without a mask is like stepping into traffic. Whereas wearing a mask is like staying on the sidewalk and not getting hit by a fucking car. Less use of budget on patients also means that they can pad their salaries or give lucrative contracts to their friends. Exactly. So was it the Act 131 in Arkansas that was stopped? Yeah, let me pull that up. We can do this. This can be like our last little segment of the day, is a little bit of a positive post. Goodbye, Violet. Good night. I feel like it would be less painful to die from being walloped by a bus than gasping through lung failure from COVID. I mean, that's kind of assuming that you die instantly from being walloped by a bus, as opposed to like breaking all of your bones and like having your lungs perforated by your broken rib cage. Like, you could also potentially die from suffocation in that case as well. I just wish good masks were more like accessible, especially now. I can't wait. What? Okay, y'all. Listen, go to Home Depot and get N95s. Go to Home Depot or Lowe's or Menards, wherever you live. Go to a hardware store and get N95s. It cost me like $30 to get a 25 or like a 20 pack of N95s. They're supposed to technically be single use, but I reuse mine for like at least a month probably. Save big money at Menards. You know what else you can save at Menards is like not time. Like, oh my God, listen, everything at Menards sucks. The tools are so bad there. You can't get name brand tools there. Like, it's not like you're going to go to Menards and buy a Milwaukee fucking set of tools. They only carry their own stuff and it's the worst quality tools. Fair, but COVID will never kill you instantly. That's true. Excuse me. I've never heard of Menards. It's a Midwest thing. Excuse me. Reusing them does make sense, and I didn't think about how worse. Yeah, don't wear surgical masks. Surgical masks are not, they're going to do a little bit, but they're not going to do very much. Whereas an N95 provides like a seal on your face. If the tools are bad, I would worry about the masks being no good. Yeah, I'm not saying go buy Menards brand masks. You can get, oh yeah, single-use N95s are single-use for when you use them for grinding and causing a bunch of dust. That's fair. Oh yeah, go to Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight. I usually buy 3M brand masks. Like that's just the brand that I feel like, but I don't know why I feel a trust like toward 3M. I probably shouldn't. Where is her actual channel? Search history. Arkansas? Ah, yes. So we might not watch this whole video, and I'll probably go ahead and speed it up, but... So there was going to be a law passed in Arkansas restricting transgender adults from using the restroom in public, but this Democratic congressperson spoke against it, and the bill got sent back to committee, which is cool. So we're going to watch it, and I'll let my voice rest a little tiny bit.
I've got a few things I need to say about this bill, so I hope y'all will bear with me this afternoon. You already know what the first comment is going to be. This bill is an unprecedented step toward criminalizing being transgender in America. When you boil it down, what it does is makes it a crime to be a transgender adult in Arkansas. Now, you can parse words with me and say, oh, it only applies if you go in a public restroom and then only if a child is present. But we all know that adults have to use public restrooms, if not every day, then virtually every day. And it's impossible to spend a week or two of your life, much less years or your entire adult life, with being certain that the only time you go into a public restroom is when no children are present. So once again, when you boil it down, this bill makes it a crime to be a transgender adult in Arkansas. If passed, it would be the most extreme anti-trans law in America. Now, you may not understand why a person would be transgender or be interested in the science around it, but at some point you have to recognize the basic humanity of a person. And there's nothing more human than having to go to the bathroom, and this bill criminalizes that. And that's cruel. Now, I don't believe it's Senator Payton's intent to be cruel. I'm confident that it's not. But whether it's his intent or not, this criminalizes going to the bathroom as a transgender adult in Arkansas.
I really appreciate when someone just like goes for it and just says like, yeah, no, this is like, you can like say your pretty words as much as you want to, but it doesn't change the material impact of what you're about to do. You can say as much as you want, like, no, this bill doesn't criminalize being transgender, but like literally, like if it's not possible for you to go to the bathroom while you're in public, then it's not possible for you to be in public longer than it take, like for long enough for you to drink some water and like need to pee again. Yeah, this politician sounds like a person. Whoa.
And that's cruel, and it presents a horrible image of our state to the world. Now, I know many, if not most of y'all, disagree with every word that I've just said. Now, while that may be personally disappointing for me, I also recognize that. So I'm going to ask you to indulge me and set everything I said just now all to the side and pay attention only to what I'm going to say from this point forward, because what I'm going to say from this point forward has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a Democrat. It will not be based on any political, philosophical, or ideological difference that you and I may have with each other. I'm going to talk about the language in the bill only, okay? So let's start with the easy stuff. On page 7, line 14 of this bill, there's a missing line. There's a line missing in the bill. Now, I've discussed this with Senator Payton. He's agreed to change that in the House, but that didn't stop or even slow down this bill from passing out of committee when there's missing language in the bill.
That's so shoddy. Like, this is crazy to me, is like, this is the result of gutting public education for a long time. Like, that the idea that you would submit a homework assignment without making sure that it was written correctly and like realizing that you had accidentally deleted an entire line out of your essay, like, that's crazy. That's wild that people would think that that's acceptable in their job at all, but especially in a job where you're supposed to submit like something that's as good as it can be so that it can then be debated because you're writing a fucking law.
On that, as y'all know, this makes it a crime to go into the bathroom and remain there, of the opposite sex, and remain there if a child is present. There's an exception in the bill if it's your own child who's 6 years old or younger. But there's no gender language in the exception. So the way the bill is written, an adult man can take his 5 or 6 year old son into a women's room and hang out there all day. And under this bill, it's not a crime. Now, Senator Payton said in committee that does not match his intent. But did that slow this bill down from coming out of committee? Not even a bit. Beyond that, and this Senator Love got at this in his question. I asked Senator Payton in committee, are you aware of a single instance in Arkansas of this happening, someone going into a bathroom of the opposite sex and it causing harm to a child? And he said he's aware of some constituents who have a concern about it, but he's not aware of a single instance of that ever happening. And we know that's not going to slow the bill down because we pass bills out of here all the time without any evidence of a problem whatsoever. But I want to talk for a minute. I want to go a little deeper on the bill, a little more into the meat. As many of y'all know, crimes consist of elements. These are the facts that prosecutors have to prove in order to obtain a conviction. By and large, elements consist of two categories: a mental state and then behavior that we as a society want to prevent or criminalized. There are some crimes like murder that depend on a result, like the death of another person, but by and large, there are two types of elements for crimes: a mental state and behavior that we want to prevent and criminalize. In this bill, there is a mental state.
Yeah, the shade that he's throwing is very real here.
Knowingly, which Senator Payton amended into the bill. It was not in there originally. The behavior that the bill seeks to prevent and criminalize is entering and remaining into a public changing facility, which is basically a public bathroom, and remaining there while a child is present. If you do that, you're guilty of indecent sexual conduct with a child, sexual indecency with a child. I want to give you just a couple of examples of what I mean when I talk about behaviors and mental states. I'm going to first use battery in the first degree. A person commits battery in the first degree if, with the purpose of causing serious physical injury to another person, that's the mental state. The person causes serious physical injury to any person by means of a deadly weapon. There's the behavior that we want to prevent and criminalize. Another example, theft of property. A person commits theft of property if he or she knowingly, there's the mental state, takes or exercises unauthorized control of the property of another person. There's the behavior. And then there's another mental state with the purpose of depriving the owner of the property, of that property. We already have the crime of sexual indecency with a child on the books, and there's 3 examples. So again, the behavior here is being in a bathroom while a child is present. These are the examples of sexual indecency with a child of the crimes that we have on the book, of the crime that we have on the books. First, being an adult, 18 years or older, you solicit someone who's 14 years or younger to engage in sexual intercourse, deviant sexual activity, or sexual contact. That's sexual indecency with a child. The second example, with the purpose to arouse or gratify a sexual desire, the person purposely exposes his or her sex organs to another person who's under 14 or of any age if they have a position of influence over that child. That's sexual indecency with a child. The third example is, with the purpose to arouse or gratify a sexual desire, the person, being 18 years of age or older, causes or coerces a minor to expose his or her sex organs. Someone who's 14 years of younger for any minor, or a minor of any age if you have a position of influence over them. That's sexual indecency with a child. And what we're proposing to add to that here is if you are in a bathroom with a child, not if you're harming the child, not if you're attempting or threatening to harm the child, not if you're observing the child, not if you're anywhere near the child. If you're in the bathroom with a child under this law, you're guilty of sexual indecency with a child. And I want to give a couple of examples of what that means, but for how broad that is. There might be a situation that a child could get hurt if there's a person in a bathroom with them, just like a child might get hurt on an interstate highway. But we don't ban cars from being near other cars if there's a child present on interstate highways. What we do ban are people from speeding or driving while intoxicated, because those are the behaviors that as a society we want to prevent and criminalize. But here, all we're saying we want to prevent and criminalize is someone from being in a bathroom at all. So let's say a person has an emergency need to go into the bathroom to wash their hands. They walk in, there's a child at the next sink washing their hands. You remain in the bathroom to wash your hands. No one in the bathroom is using the bathroom. You're guilty of sexual indecency with a child. And I'll give you another example.
I love how thoroughly he's thought about this. Like, this is how you write laws. Like, this is how you be a politician, in the sense that your actual job is to write good law. Like, that's this dude's goal. And it's cool that he's like, well, the law as it's written, you know, these exceptions could result in this, and this could result in this. And like, here's what, you're raising this to the level of criminality of these other acts, which do have demonstrable harm.
You're in the bathroom, and it's embarrassing that I have to talk about this on the Senate floor. You're in a bathroom in an enclosed stall. The stall door is locked. You're sitting on the toilet. You hear a child come in. You're in the middle of doing your business, okay? You hear the child's voice. You remain in the bathroom until the child leaves. You are guilty of sexual indecency with a minor. Now, the broad description of the behavior that we're trying to prevent and criminalize with this bill is not even the worst part of the bill. That is the fact that an element of this crime is that you have to go into a bathroom of the opposite sex. Sex is defined in the bill.
Oh yeah, this is good.
According to the bill, it means a person's immutable biological sex as objectively determined by anatomy and genetics as existing at the time of birth. It's hard for me to put into words how preposterous I believe that is, but I'm going to try. As I mentioned, there are 2 types of elements generally that are in crimes: mental states and behaviors. This adds a physical trait of a person's body to being an element of a crime. So what this means is, if we believe it and agree with it, that the only people who can harm a young boy in a men's room are those people who were born with vaginas. Or the only people who can harm a young girl in a women's room are those who were born with penises. Now, what does that have to do with whether you're harming a child or not? It doesn't have anything more to do with whether you were born with brown hair or one arm or green skin. That's why prosecutors and states don't put physical traits of a person as an element of a crime for an offender.
Yeah.
Beyond that, in order for a prosecutor to obtain a conviction under this crime as it's written, they will have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt what a person's genitals were when they were born. Just let that sink in. A prosecutor will have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, in order to obtain a conviction, what a person's genitals were when they were born. Now, y'all might ask me, I'm going to stop talking about the bill now. And you might ask me, Tucker, why are you down there so long, beating up on a bill? that is so obviously flawed. And at the risk of answering a question with a question, my question to the membership is, what is a bill that's in this kind of shape doing on the floor of the Arkansas State Senate?
Oh man, this is
And
so
even
good.
worse, why does it stand such a high chance of passing? I was elected to the state senate on November 3rd, 2020. The first event that I attended as a senator-elect was a dinner on November 5th, the night before our organizational meeting. At that dinner, Senator Hickey, who was the incoming president pro tem, had a gift and a message for all of us. The gift was a knife. And the message was not for us to stab each other. The message was that iron sharpens iron. Now, I like that. I knew coming into this body that there were going to be laws that were passed that I disagree with from a philosophical standpoint, and I accept that. But what I thought that meant is that we as a membership would work hard to get bills in the best shape that they can be in before we pass them, or we don't pass them. Now, stop me if you've heard this. We're in committee. We have an amendment that wholly transforms a bill with no notice to the members and no notice to the members of the public. But that doesn't stop the committee. Adopt the amendment, pass it out. We have another bill that comes to committee. It's totally dependent. Its implementation is totally dependent on an appropriation being passed. Otherwise, it's an unfunded mandate that will cause the state agency to be breaking the law if the appropriation's not passed. The appropriation process hasn't even begun. We don't know if it's going to pass or not. Doesn't matter. Let's pass that bill out of committee. We have another bill that's banning counties from doing something that no county in the state is doing. Doesn't matter. Let's pass that bill out of committee. And how many times have we heard this? Oh, this bill is flawed. I, as the bill sponsor, agree. But I promise, I'll get it fixed in the House. Now, I don't know about you, Senator Hickey, but I'm worried that some folks have left their iron at home because we need to see some more sharpening around here. And this is the point I'm trying to drive home. Vetting bills is not partisan. Vetting bills is not partisan. It requires good faith, mutual respect, and hard work, and that's it. Vetting bills should never be partisan, but it should especially not be partisan when one party has over 80% of the seats in the legislative body. If vetting becomes partisan in that circumstance, then we end up with a whole lot of bad laws on the books. Now, I don't want to suggest that there's no vetting taking place. Just in Senate state agencies yesterday, Senator Hammer and Senator McKee pulled bills down based on questioning from Senator Payton, Senator Dotson, and myself. And I want to compliment Senator Payton and Senator Dotson for asking those questions, and I want to especially compliment Senator Hammer and Senator McKee for being open to hearing those questions. But we can do better than we've been doing. And y'all know that we can do better than we've been doing. The people of Arkansas deserve better than we've been doing. We're down here not to make political statements or for our own egos or for social media posts. We're down here to make laws. And if we pass laws like this one and somebody breaks it, they're going to prison. The people of Arkansas deserve our best effort. And we can start right now with a vote on this bill. We can say, Senator Payton, no matter how much we like you, and I know we all do. Senator Payton, no matter how much we respect you, and I know we all do, I know that I do. Senator Payton, no matter how much we like what you're trying to do here, which I personally don't, some of y'all may, but no matter how much we like what you're trying to do here, when a bill comes to the floor in this shape, it's not passing the Arkansas State Senate. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I thought that was worth watching because it made me feel better. Like, someone who cares about his job he's like, I personally don't agree with what you're even trying to do here, but I'm not about to tell you, like, that's not even the main basis for what I have the issue for. Yeah, Jim C., you're way behind. But asking about the Mann Act, if an adult prostitute took a Greyhound bus across state lines, I think that technically the bus company could be liable for trafficking someone across state lines in the same way that, like, some places have made it so that you can technically, like, you can evict a sex worker because they've criminalized like benefiting from money made through sex work, meaning that if you're accepting rent money from a sex worker who earned her money through sex work, then you are profiting off of the sex trade, and that's, like, illegal and sex trafficking. I was also worried about SB 43. What am I doing? Arkansas. Oh, is this an anti-drag bill? Another one? Ooh. Oh, gosh. The intent might be missing on the Greyhound bus situation. That's a good point. Would this sort of thing be used to ban trans people from using public transit? I don't know. I have to look into the details. But, yeah, I would have to look into SB 43 a little bit more because I haven't read up on this one specifically. And I have a video that we did about anti-drag stuff a few weeks ago that I need to publish. So, yeah, I'll get around to it. It looks like it passed SB 43. Yeah, and like there was the one in Tennessee as well that just passed, so we might have to do an updated anti-drag segment later this week. Later this week, perhaps. For now, I think I'm ready to wind down a little bit because I'm basically going to get finished with stream and then go I'm going to get finished with stream and then get ready to go camping and like get my last bit of stuff together and load up my car and all that. So, I'm so ready. Like, I'm going to get off the internet for a day. Like, I'll have my phone with me, but I'm not going to be using it too much. So, yeah, I'm excited. I realized that this was probably a stupid decision that I'm going to like go camping and then tomorrow is my first day like planning to work out really intensely because I'm going to not sleep very well tonight. Like hypothetically, I'm not going to sleep very well tonight. I'm going to sleep on the on like the ground tonight. So, yeah, but oh gosh. I hope that you all take some time to do something good for yourselves in the next couple of days. Like, do something that you actually want to do, even if it's a small thing. Like, find something nice to do for yourself. Maybe do a little bit of a gratitude practice where you write down and like think about and ruminate over some things that you're grateful for, you know? Because there are beautiful things in the world. Like, there's a reason why we so desperately want to stay alive. And it's because life is too sweet. Like, life is too good for us to be willing to give it up. Like, living as our authentic gender is too good. Like, it tastes too good. And, like, we can't let them turn our joy into ashes in our mouths. You know what I mean? Like, we got to keep it up. We got to keep things going. Oh, God. All right. Well, you're all great. I thank you so much for all of your donos today, and I thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope that you have a good next couple of days, and I will be seeing you on Tuesday if all goes well. John Get Bent with the last minute $5 dono. Thank you so much. Happy camping. Thank you, John Get Bent. Have a good next couple of days, and yeah, I will see you all on Tuesday.